Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala Rasulil Karim amma ba'd. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of UEF Chamber of Commerce in welcoming you all to this special session. You people joining makes this session such a special one. As you all know that we start our sessions by invoking the blessings of the Almighty, and to do so, I request Brother Nadeem to recite few verses from the Holy Quran, post which we will commence the session. Thank you.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين صدق الله العظيم.
Jazakallah khairan, may Allah shower His blessings on all of us. Now, I request the women power of MIIT to lead and recite Tamil Thai Walter, and I also request our participants to just stand up for a minute when it is being recited. Thanks a lot.
சீராரும் பதனமென திகழ்வரத கண்டமிதில் தெற்கணமும் அதிசிறந்த திராவிடன திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு திரை முதலும் தரித்தனரும் திலகமுமே திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் வணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிலமை திறமியந்து செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே.
Thanks a lot. This session is going to be a little different. It's quite unique in its own sense. Just to have this session a little more interactive, I thought I would just throw some simple questions to you, and I'm sure that audience can also, reciprocate with your answers. This session is basically special because this session deals with the present as well as the future. Oh, great. Thanks a lot. Highly appreciate. Okay, this session is going to be, one, we all find a lot of possibilities. This session is going to deal with the possibilities and transform it into reality. Absolutely, well said. Okay, last but not the least, I'm going to say one more sentence and let me see how you're going to reciprocate. Okay, अपनी कुर्सी की पेटी बांध दीजिए, क्योंकि AiAiyo सेशन स्टार्ट होने वाला है. ओके, मौसम बिगड़ेगा नहीं क्योंकि मौसम बनने वाला है, क्योंकि AiAiyo सेशन स्टार्ट होने वाला है. Now, to give the welcome address, we have a special person. He is the Director General of UEF Chamber of Commerce, a person with whom I have a long-term association with. He is also the Managing Director of Inno Advisory Private Limited. Without further delay, I would like to call upon Sajid Satak Saab to deliver the welcome note. Over to you, sir.
Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to all of you. Beloved members of UEF, esteemed panelists and respected guests. It is my honor to welcome all of you to this interactive session on artificial intelligence. I wish to thank all of you for your interest in today's session, and especially the speakers and panelists who have accepted our invitation and are present here to share their experience and knowledge about AI with all of us today. Today, we live in a world where our phones are smarter than us and can access more knowledge and information than the entire volumes of encyclopedias. Whether it's your Google search engine, your Uber app, or your Swiggy, Zomato, AI is everywhere. We are using it every day without realizing that we are using so much of AI. We are using AI to help other businesses. So why not leverage it to help our own businesses? That's the whole idea of this session. So this session is about unraveling the mysteries of artificial intelligence and understanding how it can be a game changer for all of us in our businesses and everyday lives. As you will engage with our distinguished speakers, remember, questions are not only welcome, they're encouraged. So please, don't hesitate to ask questions. That's the whole purpose of the session. So this platform is for dialogue and for learning. So let's leverage, most of it. So let us tap into the power of artificial intelligence and discover how it can elevate our businesses and enhance our everyday lives. Thank you all for being here today. Let us make this session a powerful and a memorable one. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for your kind words. I think it has set the tone for today's session, but I don't see the energy that is required to make it. So can we all give a big round of applause, please? Great, highly appreciated. Okay, now it's time to welcome the keynote speaker. He has a remarkable leader with over 30 years of experience across various industries and technology. He's currently the president of Cambridge Mobile Telematics India, known as CMT, where he leads cutting-edge initiatives and R&D and the development of platforms that aim to make the world's roads and drives safer. Before joining Cambridge Mobile Telematics CMT, he spent 16 years at Cognizant serving in multiple executive roles, including CTO for business digital operations, and also various other positions, including CTO for communication and technology vertical. His leadership was instrumental in modernizing platforms that champion open source technologies. With a career spanning roles at Planet Asia, Pharmametric Technology Corporation, Electronica, and Caterpillar, his journey is a testament to his deep expertise in technology transformation. He holds a PhD in computer science and a master's in machine tool design. Dear members, please join me in welcoming a true expert of AI, Dr. Suresh Venugopal, with a thunderous applause. Please, sir. The stage is yours. Thank you.
Very good morning. Thanks for joining today. It's been a wonderful opportunity to be here, part of this, part of this forum. My topic here is, tell about AI, but everybody knows about AI. So it's been a very complex topic for me. But I try to present in three sections. Section one, how to view technology, because technology, somebody thinks it's very easy, somebody thinks it's very complex. So I want to unravel how to understand technology. I will try to use some examples. And then the evolution of AI, and then what we see as AI day to day. So that's what I will present at 25 minutes, and then let you also ask questions. We can have 10-15 minutes of questions. That's how I. So, any technology, you have three interfaces. Generally, an interface means somebody works with the lab, and that's the innovator's interface. Means they work with the tools, they work with the any new breakthrough. It could be a foundational breakthrough, either through physics or chemistry or biology, or it could be an interdisciplinary. So that's how they use the lab, they experiment and explore. And generally, you know about that. The interface for you is conferences and journals. That's where you come to know about that actually. Otherwise, generally hear from some other professors or academy, good institutions can provide that insights, right? That's the only interface available. And generally when you encounter the interface, that is generally what's called state of the art. What they demonstrate, art of possible, what is possible in reality in future. But that day it is still a lab interface. And second is an engineer's interface. If something is possible, to make it really usable, it has to be an engineer. Even engineer's interface is also very, very clunky. It's not necessarily great, but still it is there. But then consumer interface, that's when we really start to interact with the technology. So generally every technology goes through this evolution process. Today at least there are a million researchers across the world in various areas investigating what is art of possible in 2040, in 2050 and 2020, 2030, depends on area of their engagement, right? So there's something that's going on always. So that is one area to investigate. To have so NISI is one such academic interface that you have, you should leverage that. That's number one. Engineers interface, you will definitely see some of the pioneering organizations who want to take a leap. They take a huge risk in trying to explore the state of the art of the possible. So you should have some view to engage with them in a way. That's again, meetings such as this gives an opportunity to network and understand what's going on there. And consumer interface, everybody will have an opinion on that. That means it has arrived actually. So if you don't use it, pretty much we are non-existent actually. So it's very important to stay focused on 1 and 2 are very important interfaces. I think many of the businesses don't leverage the 1 and 2, the power of 1 and 2. That's the point I wanted to say. All the evolutions happen through these 3 waves or cycles. So I'm just taking an example of electricity. Electricity, 1860, the entire 1860 to almost 1960, 100 years, is about moving the magnet, actually. It's all about moving the magnet. Energy sources to move the magnet. And then there are multiple researches happened at that point in time, multiple developments happened. One is moving the magnet, is one side, different energy sources. Then how to distribute them, how to take it to the last mile. Last mile is where consumption happens. Then if you look at that, now this is the power of what happened in 1860 actually. No one would have imagined a fireworks can be completely electrified actually. Such a harmful interface of explosives into a very brilliantly programmable interface. It's an information interface today. A fireworks was an entertainment first it was an entertainment. To understand it, entertainment, it took time actually. Once you have an understanding of entertainment, that's information. Once it is information, it is programmable now actually. Now see the amount of creativity that is there. And now you can see completely very different. People go to see New York or any other places which are like it, just to see that the entire industry of tourism created based on that actually. If someone would have thought, what can you do with the movement of electricity on the day, you would not have all these opportunities available today. And we cannot even imagine we can live without electricity today. I want you to take a pause and reflect on this. It's very important. So this is this one example itself is sufficient. Should we live in optimism or should we live in pessimism? Always we can live in optimism actually. Definitely things are getting better. It will definitely get better, and there's enough people are working on it, and it will. So this is so if you look at it here, there's a consumer interface. That's what I marked. So today when you think about electricity, we just look for a plug point to charge, whether it's an electric vehicle or lighting the Burj Khalifa, or it's all about charging. We just need an interface, and whether it's a commercial interface or a consumer interface, it's just whether it's a big electrification or a small electrification, you have points to consume actually. That's it. The moment you have a consumer interface, we don't even bother about. Even the same dangers of electricity still continue to be existing there. If you insert your finger inside the socket, you're most probably guaranteed to die actually. And you can trigger electric accident very easily, anywhere. But still, you understand, we are confident to use. We don't even teach today any children how to use electricity. This is natural. The way we use, they also plug, 3-year-old plugs and charges. That much we have matured to use the technology. So, other element is we will mature to use the technology in a very easier way moment we start to use the consumer interface. That's two things that we want to. So now we can observe anything that you encounter day to day. You can feel how it could have evolved and how you are using it. So you can say this. You can say the same thing for different technologies. Electricity I just talked about. You can say for every one of them. Quantum, for example, it is still in the labs. It is in the lab innovators interface, and to some extent it is starting to engineering interface, but still not at consumer interface yet. When quantum comes in, all this that we use today will be a joke actually. It will be a toy. What we are using today is a toy actually. The terabytes, gigabytes, all of them will become like what is KB used to be in 2000s or 1990s. Same way you can see transportation mobility, you can see internet and computing. All of them have evolved through the same interfaces. And UPI is a great example that we see in the last 10 years. It's fantastic. No one would have imagined. Aadhaar would have initiated UPI, and UPI now anybody can transact. Absolutely. It's a credit card used to be a privilege to carry. Today, that privilege itself is nullified completely. Imagine, that's the beauty of the technology, right? So, AI is exactly going through the same phase. So, like you have electricity on the plug, you will have intelligence on the plug. That is the evolution. You can tap into intelligence at your will, and anybody can tap into intelligence at their will. Right now, intelligence is just very private. It is not collect. We have to collect intelligence to give meetings like this today to gather, or we have other mediums right now, like social mediums available to gather. But you have to assume your private intelligence can be enhanced. Your IQ points can be enhanced very quickly by tapping into AI at any time at your will. That's the world that we will be embracing. And so, if you just take the intelligence as the, this is a dictionary definition, very simple. You learn based on the context. And the only way we can learn, understand intelligence is we have to look at our children, not us. Us, we don't understand how we learn actually. We have to look at our children, our grandchildren. You can see. You just give them some toys, they figure out actually. They figure it over time. You don't give a toy of, you don't give electricity there. You give a toy that you feel safer to give actually. AI is also same thing. You have to give a right data. Right data is right safe data you have to give, and it can learn actually. And what is the learning process? It can figure out, are there anything patterns that are there? If the patterns are there, it will start to map. It still does not understand. Child do not know what is a cat and what is a dog and what is a meal, what is good or bad, what is sugar, nothing it doesn't know. But it starts to figure out slowly. Same way AI also. Exactly the same. If you know how to grow the child or a grandchild, you know how to live with AI. That's first comfort that you want to enjoy. We are so easily engaged with kids. Same way you can engage with AI. That's a point that I want to, because AI is generally seen as something else. It's not something else. It's just a native intelligence that you have. It's just an extension. It's not an augmentation. Just additionally, you are able to get that, right? So you can see patterns and predicting the future. That's the what will be. So if you take the decision making process that we do every day, every decision, whether sit on the first bench, whether should we drink coffee or tea, whether we should travel to Dubai next week, should I go by this airline, that airline, any decision that you take, you are thinking about the future. What is the impact of the decision that you will take? What's the probability that the decision will be successful? And then you take the decision. Some of them are very easy, some of them are very complex. Easy decisions, You just, because you are used to taking it, because you used to that data very well, you know pretty much it works. Some data is very complex. Will there be should I invest, 2 crores on this particular item that requires a lot more investigation? Can I take coffee or tea? Is easier. But all of them have the same 4 principles. Probability of success or the impact, and then the pattern, and then what you have learned in the past, and then seeing that it is resolving. It's working all the time. You took something as coffee, it doesn't taste like coffee. Next time you think about it, the new learning happens actually, right? And so this is what every AI is happening. Every AI is trained like this actually. So you give data and you design an algorithm made to learn. The way you work with child, this is exactly the same pattern. There is nothing else actually. So only there are 3 things: data, and then algorithm, and then training process. So different companies do differently. This has been going on for so many years actually, right? At least last 70 to 80 years it's been progressing. And I've just given some examples here to just help you. It is not happening today. It has been happening over time. We just got a consumer interface called ChatGPT. And last 1 year, 2 years, there's been a lot more noise about it, and everybody talks about it. But it has been there. So this is one first visible interface that we saw. And AI can be the best in the world in chess. That is an important visible event. Before that also it existed. In case any of you graduated in the mid 80s and the early 90s, every research thesis had neural network. Every research thesis or PhD, MS thesis contained expert system for something using neural network. It was that prevalent in 1985 and 1990s. And then there is what's called AI winter. Right? I'll talk about it a little bit in a minute. So you don't see the success immediately. Then you give up and then you think, okay, it's a fad, but not necessarily useful. Then you move on to something else. But every one of the technology goes through the same cycle. So 1997, IBM, Deep Blue, really a big guy. That is an important event because then that created visibility for this area. So more researchers started coming back to neural networks, started spending time on that. And that led to the breakthrough. And you can see that that technology was sufficient. 2000 to 2020, you can see pretty much the entire trading happens through machines now. Investment trader used to be a most glorious job in 80s on the floor. And no more investment trader you can see actually. There's nobody's investment trader today. They are only a wealth advisor. They're not a trader actually. Trading is now moved to machines because machines can now almost in a microsecond they can start to find the difference and trade today. Third example is the personalization. Personalization is a privilege. And before 2000 it was a privilege. Information you have to pay to get the information, personalized information. And AdWords just changed it. Today, when you are thinking about, if you are a 23-year-old in Raipet looking to find the next best smoothie, within few microseconds you have an ad coming there, very relevant to you, targeting you to go to move that nearby smoothie shop. That much personalized it has become. So that is a living example of, and that you can see, you don't see literally that ad is served through, that's completely AI actually, driving you and serving you. That's another example of visible interface. And whatever you buy in Amazon, there's yesterday I saw on meme. Actually, I want to take 4 days leave. Why? Because there's an Amazon festival. Amazon shopping festival. I want to take 4 days leave. That much, so that entire Amazon lives just because that industry is a 3% profit industry, the retail industry, right? Generally, the best in the world used to be Walmart, used to operate at 4%, 3.8 to 4%. And everybody else is just operating break even. Either they are losing or just breaking even, right? And that industry has flourished, and Amazon took that opportunity of this technology and recommendation engine, the one that showed, they start showing you books that you can read, and then now they are showing you everything. It's completely possible only through AI. If AI was non-existent, the entire opportunity to operate beyond 3.5 margin is not possible. Now it is irreversible process. You just cannot live without an online actually. Only an offline is only for an experience, privileged experience, human experience. Otherwise, if e-commerce not happen through commerce not happen through E, then you don't exist really. You just cannot operate. Example of visible interface. And sports has fundamentally changed. I'm sure that if you are operating in sports, if you don't have metrics, you cannot win any of the sports today. Not just baseball. Baseball is the one visibly spoke about, but cricket and every field of industry today, sports industry is completely how you excel in every microsecond or milliseconds is completely through AI actually, right? What I mean by AI means they've taken the data, processed the data, and then they're giving new nuggets. Now how you can improve that microsecond in your excellence. And this is another important ImageNet is an important breakthrough. So 2008 to 2007 to 2010, in that period, what they have done, Stanford of course created about large set of images. They have assembled human labeled images they created. With that images, they were able to create a engine that can find on its own cats actually. What is a cat from a pixels? That's a huge breakthrough. It's very similar to magnet moving on the wire event in what you saw in the last 15 years. 15 years revolution happened from that breakthrough, what's called AlexNet. That was the first one. That has helped to propel the entire movement on autonomous vehicles. Today we can visually definitely say that autonomous vehicles are possible. It's coming from that. That's on the how to use pixels or images to start to understand. Today what we have multimodal. You can give an image to Google search and ask what does that image looks like. Then it can tell you, etc. Right? That computer vision existed earlier also, but then machines inventing on their own happened this actually. Like the children figuring out themselves what is the circle hole to put the circle, the plug-in socket. That similarly that event happened on that day. That really propelled everything else. And the Alexa is another important event that you would have seen visibly. That has speech to text existed in the 80s onwards. There's a company called Nuance and Dragon. They all lived just by these technologies. But then Alexa introduced a consumer interface. Anybody can talk to a machine on speech. It was privileged one, engineer's privilege, become consumer privilege. Alexa was introduced. And then again DeepMind. These four are very important because protein folding is the most complex problem in the entire life sciences. Because we have to example, it takes 8 months to 9 months to identify one protein for 10 researchers, 10 lab researchers, 10 PhDs to identify one protein. Take 9 months to 10 months. Or let's say 1 year. Now here over 200 million proteins are found. 200 million proteins are found the last 7 years. Now imagine if you have to do manually. Just no way in our next 3 more centuries we would not have found that. That's the speed in which it has progressed. Because protein folding, once you understand protein folding, then we start to understand how the cancer progresses or any other progression that happens in the body. We can start to treat very differently. We can start to understand behavior very differently. That's the important one. And ChatGPT is one exposed consumer interface, because what had been Alexa, it's a hardware interface. Now it is an interface. You have to buy the hardware. Now you don't have to buy anything. Actually, to interface, you work with the system. So that's the. Since ChatGPT is known to everybody, so I thought I'll give a perspective of how it has evolved. It has evolved from 60s, and pretty much the big breakthrough was 2006, as I talked to you about. And GPT-2 already existed in 2019, but it was still engineers interface and lab interface, and now it is available to everybody. Now most of the assignments happen through ChatGPT, right? And so, which means you have to, if you are teaching assistant, you have to assume everybody has used ChatGPT, and then you have to evaluate based on the result. So today we do assessments, coding assessment we give, right? We know that everybody will use ChatGPT and produce an output. Earlier people used to go Google. Now we know that they won't even Google actually. They just cut and paste, right? We know exactly what mistakes they are going to make. And we know that within 1 minute or a few seconds, we know that, oh, it's a ChatGPT output, or it's a Olam output, or it's a Gemini output. We can say that very easily now. And we have changed the whole assessment model. And that's going to happen. That means we have to start to adapt very differently. All these are public domain information. There's nothing unique here. So good thing is, this whole invention happened mostly in Google. But the one who announced the output is OpenAI, the company which completely stolen everything, or I don't want to say stolen, but leveraged the open source opportunity and put that in public domain called ChatGPT and made it available to everybody. And we know OpenAI and actual inventions actually it is used in Google a lot more effectively. In fact, every one of the Google products use GPT extensively, transformer extensively. So this is what I want you to take out of this session, right? It's in abundance, like the electricity in abundance. AI is in abundance at a fractional cost, literally fractional cost. If you had to do same ChatGPT interface just 5 years ago, you have to go in Meta. You have to get a job in Meta first, and that means you have to work for 15 years. In some of the most coveted labs in a PhD program, postdoc program, then only you can enter. And then you have a privileged engineer to be in that group. Because in Meta also you can be in any other group actually. You have to be privileged group, and then you can touch the transformer interface. ChatGPT. Today it's available to all our kids. Just 5 years, it's available to everybody. You will see that this technology is available to you in abundance. So it's up to us how do we want to use it. That's a huge privilege. If you are just retired 10 years back, you did not even know about this. And today, if you are just starting your career, means at the age of 6 or age of 7, you are super privileged, information at your hand actually, right? So here are my takeaways. So it is in every industry it is there. Every industry. You just cannot say that my industry is backward. There is nothing called backward or forward. Every industry. I just picked up the broad sectoral areas. You just cannot say it is not applicable to me. It is as same as if you are saying electricity is not applicable to me, then you can say AI is not applicable. Or if you say thinking is not applicable to me, then you can say absolutely no. We are seriously, this we don't really take it in our heart. It's something we have to take it in our heart. Every industry is important. It's available. So if you don't have a process, have a process. You have a process, we just not formally put together. That's the only problem. You have a process for everything. You do it. You do systematically one by one, every step. You just have to formalize that. It's a very simple one called value stream maps. It's been there. It's a very old, like Pareto. It's a very old one, but it helps you to organize your process. And ask, where's my data? Because data is your source. That is where the safety comes in. Like whether you want to give a simple Lego or a complex bomb in the hands of kid, that's the data actually. You have to ask for the data. What is my data? Where is it? Once you have it, then do I have an instrumented? Everything is information. So if an explosive is the instrumentation of an entertainment, drone, example. Drone light, all you want to see is a light on the sky with the sound actually. That's all they're used to. That is coming from an explosive. prepared in a factory, transported, it has to be transported safely. Think about all the complexity of the, that's why I put that picture in the first. And if you can convert what is an explosive, dangerous interface to a brilliant entertainment interface, that's possible because of the digital twin actually. Entertainment, explosive, the light from the explosive versus LED, that is a digital twin actually. If you can think about, just Siddharth was sharing today morning, right? Last mile, when you come from metro, get down, and then you want to take an auto. Auto person also knows that he does not know that person is just coming out and I can get the savari there. The metro person also wants a savari there. Only the information. That digital twin is missing there actually. Physical is existing. Auto is there. The guy, unfortunately, the guy is sitting in the next street actually. Very unfortunate. He is also looking for the customer. This person also wants to give a business, definitely. The moment of truth is in the information gap. It's non-existent. Twin is not there. And we have a method, interface is there, mobile app is there. If there is a mobile app for the auto driver to say, I am waiting for the metro at this time, 10:20. Or the guy when he get down, the 3 autos are waiting. These are the 3 numbers are waiting. Imagine the experience for the person coming down from these 10 minutes to go to the meeting. You can definitely start using metro. You won't now think about taxi or auto from the day one actually, or from your place of start. Because it frees you from the, that's what I mean digital twin. Digital twin you can explore for every area. Every physical has to have a digital pair. And then which process requires interventions in intelligence, wherever you want to think, if do this, else do this, then you have an opportunity to put intelligence actually. Very simple. If I am taking a question, coffee or tea, that means you can put intelligence there, you can put AI there actually. That much simple that is. But it's all simple baby steps we have to take, and you don't have to necessarily go there straight away building another chat GPT. Just as I said, you don't have to bother about building electricity now actually. You have about using electricity. You don't have a charge, switch charge, that's it. And it's available, right? Hidden patterns in your data, because it's your business, you want to leverage the data, because all about AI is identifying, we can only do 6 or 7 things at any point in time, maximum, we can process. AI can handle billions of them right now. Billions of unknown hidden patterns are seen there actually. That's all I can say. Of course, as long as you start thinking about customer experience, very immersive experience, someone has to imagine fireworks can be presented by combining various drones in a programmatic way, even if a chaotic shape that if you show them, it's not going to be interesting. That's why first shapes were using was a simple straight line light. Laser shows were simple straight line lights. Now you have dragons starting to flow actually. So straight away you try to program dragon on the day one, it's not possible. You first start a straight line, then circle, then 3 more circles, and then you start presenting them in the next Olympiad opportunity or World Cup opportunity. Then, now tomorrow, entire fireworks in the 5 years from now, it will be only programmable actually. And programmable by you. Right now it's engineers programming, you don't have an interface.
Now I just want to understand what is going to be the future of our children. With all these advancements coming and by a click of a button they are able to do so many things. The type of study what we did and AiAiyo did, that is not going to happen in the future because everything is on the tablet. So how are their brains or how is their intelligence going to be in the coming future?
It's a great question. Absolutely great question. And we have not solved all the problems. We have so many problems to solve actually. We still not understood physics of nature, physics of our body, chemistry of our body, biology of our body. We don't understand yet. And we have so many problems here, right? And we have so many problems. Even these chairs, we cannot still change it at our convenience. Everyone is, that much opportunity is there. And the fundamentals and the foundation has to be understood. Because even to use it, If you give even today, mobile phone given to a grandma, complete 93-year-old grandma, how will the person use? Because accessibility is not there. If the mobile phone speaks to herself, then it's easy for us to interact. So you have to do a lot more language. There are so many areas to improve. Every area is very similar to the question, what will people do? Who was preparing candles? Candles are the only way to light before 1860. That would be the industry. Now, what about drone programming right now? So it will liberate us from doing basic work to really high-end work. High-end is, we don't know actually. How we would not have known about drone is a presenter of fireworks in 1860. We are like that actually. We will be laughing at it. So we have to just live with an optimism. There is enough for them to do, and we have to engage them life skills. We have not taught them life skills. We have. So last 30 years, we have only told them read the book, pass the exam, and go to some work. That's how we have trained them. We never allowed them to even ask questions. First, we have to liberate them to ask questions, to inquire actually. And we are so used to a template. You have to go to work for 10 hours and make money, etc. They have a different model actually. And that same template did not exist 150, 200 years ago. There's nothing like, morning start the work at 9 a.m. and finish the work at 9. We have put the template actually. As a human, we are so brilliant in adapting. AI is not going to remove us from that's another perspective, because that extreme perspective is required to build safety. That's why that is required. That noise is required, right? Like the way we regulated electricity, regulated every healthcare, life sciences, finance, etc. AI also will be regulated. And children will get a lot more. Children are not anymore Googling. They are not memorizing tables now actually. They know that 8 into 7, none of the kid now answers. 8 sevens are, nobody answers. We wrote impositions actually to memorize that. We also did not know 8 into 27, we also don't know. We have a problem. Maybe my grandfather maybe would have learned 18 to 27. Maybe they were done very quickly. I'm not used to 18 to 27. Maybe 16 was my end actually, right? And we are used to logbooks. Now, do you think people have to go back to logbooks? Absolutely. We don't even know the log actually. Log is a brilliant tool available to simplify it. But then we don't even know. So they will, we have to change the education, we have to improve the education system. And if you look at it, we have also tuned our education system very well actually, as a revolution. Otherwise IT would not have been possible in India actually. 30 years is a break. Imagine if IT was not there, education system did not tune, you would have missed the entire bus. Entire bus would have gone actually. So we have brilliant brains in India, and I think all of us are good enough to engage children in a better. I think life skills, how to cope up with failures. We never taught them failures at all. We tell them always first rank, second rank. We never told them 55th rank in the class is the best rank. We never told them. We never celebrated failures. The next 30 years we have to allow them to fail actually, or show them the way. And we only told them go to IIT only is the only way to study actually. That is also wrong. We have created so many hypes around that actually, right? We have never given children the freedom of being child actually. I'm saying children means up to age of 25, I'm saying children. 0 to 25, I'm saying. I think we have to, I don't know whether I answered the question, because I also don't know the answer fully. That's why I try to give a roundabout answer. But I feel there is, no, it's not a question mark. Just that we will evolve. Is not what my view is actually. I don't know. So I'm sure it's an intelligent question. So we should be optimistic about it.
Let's use AI, no? To find out the answer.
ChatGPT it will hallucinate. Confidently hallucinate. It will say that you don't have life, you better die today. Actually. So that's not what we are. Actually, right? So it's because it is giving based on the past data. We have the brilliance to. We have not even tapped. Every time we say we don't even know what it means to use 100% of the brain. We just don't know it. The best brains, what we know is Einstein. First time we may have an opportunity to understand if collective wisdom is available from AI, what can I do actually? How can I use my brain? We don't even know actually. We've used our brains for basics. Catching this bus, catching this auto. That's what we're thinking all the time actually. Next for the day. We don't even sit back and we don't even know how to sit back and think yet. Step back and think, we don't know actually. We are started to live in the world of fear of missing everything. If I don't read something fun, we don't even know how to relax 3 hours. That much we have pushed ourselves. I think we have to. I feel we'll be unleashing our creativity huge way in the coming years, and children will show the path. We don't know. We think we only have to guide the children. They will show us a path. Is my view actually. You had a question, sir? Yes.
Sir, I'm Salman. Good morning to you and other guests. Sir, I'm a mechanical engineer and independent technical arbitrator. I have a question, sir. What is the difference between operations research and artificial intelligence? Is my question proper? OR and AI.
Okay. So the question is, what is the difference between OR and AI?
Basic.
Yes, sure. So OR is only as morphed. The elements of OR is morphed into AI. So if you look at it earlier, so we had so I just take the example of electricity. If you have walked into any of the plants in 1950s, you have department just to manage electricity. 1950s, you just have chief electrical officer, electrical output manager, transformer manager, etc. Just to provide, because electricity is the only source of energy in the plant. If the electricity is shut down, means you cannot run. And that time operations are very complex, just evolving, because you don't have that information available. Someone has to model. So hence it was treated like a research actually. Operations was treated like a research. And then as we evolved, as the globe opened up, many countries started producing and trades can happen and the exchange can happen. It required a lot more emphasis on understanding mathematical model abstractions to help to optimize. That's why optimization and OR are treated like a separate area. Now that has morphed. Many of the elements of OR only have become fundamental tenets of AI today. So the algorithm that I talked about is all OR algorithms only. All of them are OR only, nothing else. That is now transformed. So in fact, every mathematician OR person is fundamentally the best suited for enhancing the AI research.
So we want to have one final question from Fahim Bhai, then we
Yes, there is another question from there.
Yeah. So we are
So next, we are out of time for the next session.
Absolutely.
We have 2 great sessions actually.
Yeah.
I have not touched upon them. So because of the 2
You will find
great
time.
panels that you have, and many of the questions may be answered in those 2 sessions. And then we have a demo session also available. 3 great sessions are there. I don't want to, maybe one question.
Yeah, you can carry on. Your question.
So just to give some context, Suresh and I know each other for about 25 years. Very interesting conversations he and I have had. So Suresh, the question is, from recruiting millions of people, the IT services companies have done a fantastic job from Y2K all the way to AI now. What is the future of Indian IT services companies? That's part 1. And part 2 is, what kind of companies do you see emerge out of India with a new way of AI?
Okay. Is it a relevant question for everybody, or it's only a question between you and me then? Is it a relevant question? Okay. So definitely recruitment has stopped the last 4 or 5 years. It's not just today. It has been in the areas not required. Recruitment has enhanced in the areas that is more active. So, but we see the recruitment that is stopped in entry level call center operations, mostly moved to Philippines because it's cheaper to do in Philippines than India, and Vietnam, etc. And then banking operations have reduced down. But however, having said that, many of the people would have lost jobs much early, but they are all continue to survive because most of these companies have trained them to use AI to augment effectiveness. Something called RPA, robotic process automation. That started in 2012 onwards, and that tools became available to everybody from 2015 onwards. Many of the BPO centers have enhanced their skill sets to use those tool sets. That's one progress that has happened. And then on the technology side, it has to be still engineered. AI is still not available for everybody. ChatGPT is just one use case of even if you ask ChatGPT, just give me a code for Fibonacci numbers, it cannot give you. Even today, you have to have 70 billion parameter trained. You can't access them straight yet. And it is still useful for voice. Even before ChatGPT, also people have deployed voice bots. Agents were there actually. It was specialized till now. Now it used to specialized. Now it has become prevalent. There are thousands of use cases to be built from an engineer perspective. That all needs to be. In India, I think with the fundamentals on mathematics and fundamentals of engineering, only thing they have to change. Earlier, everybody trained them. In early 2000, everybody trained everybody in Java. Now the colleges are training in the programming actually. They have to move from programming to fundamentals. Little fundamentals, they'll be able to equip them to deploy actually. All those companies in the US also, Walmart also has not have thousands of engineers. So only Meta, Google and Amazon, Microsoft, only 4 or 5 companies have this kind of people. Not everybody has them. And all those companies wants to be, none of the companies want to die actually. None of the Fortune 5000 want to suddenly tomorrow declare and I'm going to die. All of them want to survive, all of them want to compete. Competition is the way we will survive. And hence, all these people need people, talent and faculty. But somebody thinks, just because I have a resume in Python, I will get a job, not going to get it. That's all. But jobs will continue. They won't hire in millions. They will definitely selectively hire. But more they see, I think the hype cycle also will come down because all the CEOs or CIOs are confused right now. What to do actually? They are all waiting, wait game. And they cannot wait anymore. And they will start. And then India is a great destination for finding the talent. And I think, but low entry jobs, much easier to do jobs, will definitely find it difficult. Thank you very much. And
Truly thought provoking, isn't it? Intelligence versus pattern. Learn intelligence from your kids is what he said. Evolution of ChatGPT was one important aspect that he also covered, and he also talked about importance of right data. I do recollect a proverb which says that beta jhoot bol sakta hai, lekin data kabhi jhoot nahi bolta. So probably very important in terms of the data that he highlighted, and he also said that opportunity is available in every industry. Very important, highly appreciate, and also he was talking about 100 into 1000x, how we can make. Truly, important points, and we do have a lot of actionables to go and then ponder upon once again. Now it's time to move on to our next panel discussion on how to partner with AI and create business impact. To moderate this engaging session, we have a special person with us. He is the director of UEF Chamber of Commerce. He is a warm and approachable individual whose soft nature makes everything highly effective. With 3 decades of experience in the product engineering space, he has served as Senior Vice President at Cognizant Technology Solutions, where he has helped numerous clients to build software products and grow their business. In addition to this extensive experience, he also supports a lot of startups with investments and also currently spearheads as founder and CEO of Family Consulting Services, convener of MI. Without further delay, I would like to call upon Janab Yusuf Saab to moderate this session. Can we all give a big round of applause for Yusuf Saab, please?
Assalamu alaikum and good morning to all of you. I think we had a very great session and it was a good segue for the first panel discussion that we are going to have. And basically, we are going to talk about what is the impact of AI. Okay, what is the impact of AI in every one of our business? And today in UEF, we all have members into various industries, right? From reality, construction to retail to leather industry, IT, everything. Okay, so in all of the businesses, we know that we have certain objectives, and we call it as a key performance indicators, the KPIs or the key result areas. And if you ask ChatGPT again, and what it says is, there are 2 or 3 which are on the top, and which is common to all the businesses. First one is the net profit margin. You want to get more profit. You want to reduce the cost and get more profit. and you want to satisfy your customer, you get better NPS, Net Promoter Score, get more customers, and obviously you want to grow the business. Okay, and these are all the main key indicators or the performance indicators. And in this panel discussion, we want to discuss from some of the eminent speakers and see from their experience and how they have done it. For that, I want to invite all the three panel members, Mr. Swaminathan K, and Mr. Siddharth, and Mr. Navid. I think Dr. Suresh talked about call for actions, right? And he mentioned some of the points, and basically those are the points. I think we are going to hear from these eminent experts of AI in their own area. And before I start, I want to introduce the panel members. First, I want to introduce Mr. Swaminathan Kalyanasundaram. Mr. Swaminathan is a visionary entrepreneur turned venture catalyst and marked by 14 startups, 8 closures, and the success of 3 ventures, currently overseeing 4 thriving enterprises. Wow, that's great. So he's best known as AiAiyo Swaminathan. I don't know how many of you know that, and he's the founder and CEO of AiAiyo Knowledge Ventures. And Swaminathan K is also a serial entrepreneur, motivational speaker, and expert in digital technologies. And Swaminathan is currently pursuing his doctorate in generative AI at the Golden Gate University, San Francisco, US. And a very apt person for this session. Thank you, sir. And next, we have Mr. Siddharth Kumar, the CEO at AiAiyo. It's a digital twins and urban intelligence firm. He brings more than 20 years of experience in branding and advertising. He has worked with very diverse clients such as Saint Bank, Unilever, GRT, Star Vijay, Kone, and whatnot. And he is best known as the customer experience and the business storytelling expert. And we will hear from him like a story in all our questions. So he has played the role of Chief Design Officer at ACES, a digital business design firm, Director of Marketing at Pramadhi Technologies, Director at Sensorial Design Lab, and Director at Pixelcraft, a media company. Thank you, Siddha. And finally, we have Mr. Navid Khan. Navid Khan is our veteran UEF member, very serious member, very active member. And by profession, he is an architect and global director at Arcadis, a world leader in sustainable design, engineering, and technology solutions for natural and built environments. With extensive experience leading major programs across Europe and Asia, Navid thrives on challenging the status quo. He also does that even in our UEF meetings and other activities also. He currently leads a diverse global team which includes technologies and other experts to deliver tailored and innovative solutions for his clients. Navid is further enhancing his leadership skills by pursuing the prestigious Leading Major Projects and Programs course at SEC Business School, University of Oxford. Okay, with that, I think we can get into the discussion. Thanks all the panel members. So maybe, Navid, I will start from you. Okay, so you come with a lot of experience in the architecture and the design side, and also the technology. And so we want to understand from you, how do you view the role of artificial intelligence, AI, in your organization, okay, with respect to the strategic objectives. So can you give some examples of how it impacts the business?
Thank you very much, Mr. Yusuf, for that glorious introduction. I don't think I would have done a better job myself, to be honest. Anyway, okay, before answering that question straight away, I would like to introduce Arcadis to this audience because it's not so popular in this part of the world. So Arcadis is a 136-year-old organization, and it was founded in Netherlands 136 years ago. It is a 5 billion euro turnover company in 2023. That's approximately 45,000 crores. We have about 40,000 ongoing projects worldwide, and we are about 36,000 strong workforce. We are in 70 countries, and I'm extremely proud to say that we are 4th largest in design and engineering, and we are 2nd largest architectural firm, And the proudest moment is when we are rated number one in our industry in the ESG sector. Now, that said, what I wanted to talk about is how Arcadis has kind of intertwined AI in our strategy, because that's what Mr. Yusuf asked. So we have three business areas in Arcadis. There is mobility. Mobility, we know it's all about airports and railway stations and whatnot. And we have places. Places is all about buildings and infrastructure and all of that. And resilience. I mean, all of these sectors Mr. Suresh touched upon. And the most important thing that we've done very, very early on is that we recognized a fourth service sector called as intelligence. I think Mr. Suresh spoke about it a lot. And the way we see intelligence, which is AI, we all know, it's not a separate sector on its own right. It's in the DNA of the company. So it is mobility plus intelligence, it's places plus intelligence, it's resilience plus intelligence. So 25-year experienced expert, when he joins hands with a 23-year-old dynamic AI expert, that's when the magic happens. I mean, when somebody asks what is the future of our children, that's the future of our children. You know, when experience and technology comes together, that's when we get integrated solutions, we get data-driven adaptation and continuous innovation. So a lot of companies here, I think my one piece of advice would be to look at your organization and see how you can have, I mean, you can understand the process of how it flows and bring in technology along with it. Mr. Yusuf told me to speak about one or two examples. One example that comes to my mind is how we use AI in my main core, that is program project management. So what we do is we collect a lot of data, which is like risk-related, change-related, scope-related, and all of that. And what we do is we use that to do better forecasting of our projects. So for example, if a client comes in and says that we need to build a data center or a gigafactory, we are ready. When we can say that it can be built in 236 days, these are the weather conditions on these months, so there will be a break there because it's all because of AI. Another product that comes to my mind is we have something called bridge health. So we use drones which fly over the bridges. They look at the wear and tear of the bridge, and then the AI kind of predicts the life of the bridge and things like that. So these are some of the things that we are actively using.
Interesting. When you were talking about this, I just read about last week. I heard that Google has released a new AI platform called, I think, Open Building, 2.5 dimension, I think, the temporal data. They are claiming that 32 million square miles of data of Africa and Southeast Asia, 8 years of data. So how the buildings are changing, height is increasing, new buildings are coming. And this is a huge, I mean, with this data, we should be able to do the crisis response, environmental study, whatnot. Okay, so I think that's where the things are moving in your industry. Okay, thanks. And so next is, I want to ask Mr. Swaminathan. I think he comes with a lot of experience from Aspire to today with a lot of startups, and more importantly, he is doing the research in Gen AI. Very interesting. So, and I'm also taking the question from, Suresh, the call of action. So one other thing he talked about is the business process and business model. Okay, and so Swaminathan, you would have seen various examples. I just want to understand now how the digital transformation using the AI helps, in terms of the new business model or the transforming the business process with some of your experience.
Sure. Just before I get into answering your question, I will take a minute away to share something. The moment I entered this campus, it was pretty nostalgic for me because I was given an admission here for a BCom program way back in 1992. I got 72 in mathematics, okay? And I mean 72 out of 200, all right? And the moment I begged, borrowed, and whatever, kingified, and my school correspondent who gave a reference to Badr Said madam, and she in turn called the chairman here and said, Parvalda or whatever. Then my father said, what nonsense, you want to join new college? No, okay. And the college I chose a better college, By God's grace, my 72 was, respected there. And that's a very calm, quiet college. You wouldn't have known about it. It's called the Pachibas College. So, and from there, I mean, no looking back. I felt extremely nostalgic coming back here. Yeah. So, having said that, coming back to your question, I founded India's first online education portal, or rather co-founded, egurukul.com, 25 years back. Forget internet, even desktop, PC was, not penetrated, had not penetrated as much. From there, it's been a full cycle today. We spoke about predictive analytics, computer adaptive testing, and all that. We were too ahead of time, all right. But this ahead of time today with AI, while we think it is ahead of time, by the time we have even understood what 3.5 can do, you have a 4. By the time you finish what 4 can, there is a 4 turbo, okay? There's a 4 mini, and now they have come out with something which is 10x and 100x smarter than the ChatGPT 4. So that's the speed at which we are moving. Today there is no business, alright? Right now I'm just completing a book which is expected to be launched in the next fortnight on the role of generative AI in the Indian judiciary, alright? We have a Supreme Court judge and a Madras High Court judges receiving this, and the book release is scheduled for about 10 days from now. The reason why I'm saying is there is no domain that can survive without using AI. Having said that, there is one big fear, I would call, AI vanda ellarkum vela poiduma. There was a time when people said you have to learn computers. Today, if you look at any job advertisement, it says computer skills, MS Word, Excel, PowerPoint, mandatory. It will be AI skills, mandatory, that's it. So are you a lawyer who knows AI or who doesn't know AI? Are you a chartered accountant with knowledge of AI or without, knowledge of AI? This is how things are going to transform. There is no space, forget the sophisticated healthcare, edtech, and all that. Very, very small things. For somebody in brand marketing, okay, communication. Today, if you know AI, your job is 40% lesser. But you need to know how to ask it. You ask it garbage, it gives you garbage. Yeah. So that's the fundamental. It is transforming every way. I'll just give you one example before I hand the mic over back to the moderator. One company that I'm working in, we are developing a Gen AI enabled spectacles for the blind people. Okay? You wear the glass, it has a camera, it can tell you that there is a meeting going on, so many people are sitting here, and if you have already saved faces, it will say that Yusuf is sitting on your right, Naveed is sitting on your left, okay? And it can read newspaper for you in real time using a bone conduction technology in about 88 languages. Okay? The nearest competitor is Google's product, okay, which is selling at about 3,800 USD onwards. Ours is 35,000 Indian rupees. We've sold 20,000 in our first year. Yeah? We're not talking to the king of Abu Dhabi, the president of UAE, okay, who's ordering 25,000 spectacles to give it to the blind people. So this is the kind, not just in the typical healthcare, predicting heart attack, predicting breast cancer. Why I'm saying all this? Because every research student, this is the first thing in machine learning. How to predict breast cancer, how to predict heart attack, how to predict diabetes. Beyond all that, okay? Yeah, there are a few women laughing there, so I think you've also done the same project. Yeah. So this is world over, I guess, whether it is a San Francisco University or a Madras University. These are standard projects. I'm saying beyond that, there are so many innovations that AI is. How would AI help our children? People with HI, adequate HI, human intelligence, will know how to use AI to make new, breakthroughs. So that's the only way to go forward. We didn't imagine that the entire railway ticketing system could be computerized 20 years, 25 years back. And we were the first country to do such a massive computerization work. Alright? So things are changing, things are transforming. Yeah. Even before I go out, so many people, 20 today, in any of the speeches that I do, people go to ChatGPT and ask, is this guy saying, is this right or wrong? And they ask, record it and put that and say, what question should I ask her? To that extent, things are moving. So unless as speakers we are also equipped with ChatGPT, we cannot answer it. Yeah, with that.
Yeah. So that means you are saying in future we will have panel discussion only with the AI, not necessarily.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if all the four of us. Yeah, I'm sure all the four of us have done some work. Because the topic is AI. Without asking AI, you can't come and sit here on what are the latest developments. I'm sure you've done that.
Yeah, very interesting.
But the beauty is, it knows all of us are asking the same question, but will give different answers. Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay, so for the one information to the audience and for the Q&A, we will have a couple of questions at the end. But if you have any questions now, you are part of one of the WhatsApp group, that is what is the UEF AiAiyo session. I think all of you are there. And if you have any question now, just write it and send, so I can do that, get the answer from the panelists in even the middle of the session. Okay. So let's move on to the next one. And so having heard the different perspectives and examples of AI and the transformation, and one other thing that we heard in the keynote speak is also about the data. You talked about the data. Data is the new oil. We all know that. Data is the heart of the whole AI. You should have the right data, right quality of data, and other things. So Siddharth, this is for you. And how important is the data and its quality, and in managing the data, successfully implementing the AI solution. What could be the best practices in terms of if somebody wants to, embrace AI, for example, in any of our UEF members, they need to think of it. What could be your suggestion from the strategy part?
Thanks, Yusuf. I hope you can hear me. Okay, I'm going to take a minute to talk about my journey to this point, and maybe I'm hoping it will help the audience here. So I was trained as a biologist. I was trained as a medical microbiologist, and I'll try and relate it to the conversation we are having. And a dominant theme in microbiology, biology in general, is adaptation. So coping, adapting, and thriving. This sort of distinguishes living systems from non-living systems or mechanical systems. So the adaptation is a key idea. That is something that you see in biology all the time. And then, and I'll talk about it a little bit because I think if you look at enterprises as living organisms instead of machines, you have to be able to develop this capability to adapt. And that's where I think AI is the most powerful. We think of business as a bunch of processes. Suresh was talking about operations, research, and so on. So that's the mechanical paradigm that we have inherited from the industrial era. But the organizations that are coming up today and thriving are the ones that see themselves as organisms and not machines. So then the theme of adaptation comes in. So that's where intelligence comes in. So AI is interesting simply because no other technology, we talk about that technology as a technology, but AI is the first tech we refer to as intelligence, and that is important for a reason. So far, intelligence, like Suresh said, has existed inside our heads, but for the first time in human history, we have another kind of intelligence to aid us or to surpass us. Is, of course, time will tell. But we are confronted with an intelligence that hitherto has existed only inside our heads. Now that is significant because it almost affects everything that we do. And so in biology, again, you have this question of the organism and the environment. The organism always adapts to the environment. So in terms of data, if you think of an organism as data, the organism has to make sense of data coming in from the outside. So for it to adapt. So that is one metaphor I'll leave you with. And the second part of my journey, which was in marketing and storytelling, again is important because what do we do with data? We make stories with it. We make hypotheses with it. One is we have established formulae, which is a scientific endeavor. But when you think of marketing, you're not really looking at processes inside. You're looking at the market, and market does not operate according to your laws and whims. So I think it was Peter Drucker who famously said, inside the organization there are only costs. So it is only cost and process optimization inside the organization. Profits are supposed to be made from the outside. So disciplines like marketing look at data coming in from the outside, and the only sense you can make of from the data is stories. You can only, also called hypothesis. So you make sense of the data as stories, and this is where technologies like Gen AI and all that can really help marketing. How do you make sense of the story? So storytelling is also a very important part of running your organizations. You have a story. You say, you look at market trends, but you're essentially forming a story. And like there are cognitive limits to the human brain, like Suresh was saying. You can process 7 things at a time, but you're dealing with an intelligence that can process millions of, it's unimaginable, the kind of data that it can process. So there are again 2 parts. One is internal to your organization. You can study your organization in terms of processes, the amount of data, costs, and so on. But it is equally important as an organism to study the environment as well. And that's why marketing, making sense of all that data using an intelligence far bigger than you, which is AI. So that's where this comes in, and I think I've alluded to the data strategy. It is important to look at data, but what we're really looking at is insights. So the data and the journey to that starts with making sense of data. So you start with data, you define your data, internal data, external data, but what you're really moving towards is working with insights. So today if you have to thrive like the organism, you're looking at market data, but you're really looking for insights and the stories that you tell yourself. That's the broad idea I wanted to leave you with.
Yeah, that is interesting. In fact, generally, the data means people used to think, it is something very abstract, very difficult to understand. But today, in our life, with data, so we are using Ola, Uber, we are using Zomato, Swiggy, GPay, whatnot. Everything is revolving around the data. The data is the main thing, which is driving that business. So with that, I will.
If I'm permitted to add something here, way back in 2011, apart from one thing, probably I wouldn't know whether Yusuf consciously forgot it or didn't want to mention. I play another role. I wear a hat of a political strategist. All right. I used to be advising Madam Jayalalitha on her political strategies, and I've been running ADMK's elections for about 12 years. I ran the 2011, 14 and 16 elections, where you might have heard of the Modia, Ladia campaign. Those were all my campaigns. Right? So we did some data, while we're talking about data strategy, okay? We were very early in implementing a few AI models, like sentiment analysis, okay? And all that at that point of time, using very primitive natural language processing, models that were available at that point of time. You'd be very surprised, as he put it very correct, data is available plenty in the market today, okay? Data is available in plenty, but how do you make meaningful connections with this data and draw proper insights in order to draw a strategy towards achieving the organization's goal? That is what a data strategy is all about. We came to a conclusion that any voter or anybody in the age of 36 to 42, if they visit Kovai Annapurna, we did one pilot, Kovai Annapurna's new hotel near the airport, twice a week, they are likely to vote for AIDMK. You understand? What a correlation. Yeah? Youngsters who go to Starbucks at least once in a week will not vote for DMK. There's a lot of other findings which went behind it. Now, having found this hypothesis, we started validating it. You would remember in 2011, the current CM and the earlier mayor of Chennai, the margin was only 1.9%. Okay? Just 1.9%. Saidi Dureswamy versus 3MK Stalin. Okay? In this 1.9%, which was hardly about a few thousand votes, we dissected it into about the 300 booths approximately there. And we found that only, in major booths, the vote difference was plus or minus 50, but in only a few booths, it was 100, 150, 175. When we found out, we went a little further and found out a particular community of people lived here. And when we took that and extrapolated it on a bell curve across, wherever in geographies those people inhabited, we found the votes were much lesser than the party secured. So this gave us that segment of people were a little unhappy with this particular party or its government. So in 2016, the first signatures that we made were policies to benefit them. So not just in getting your votes, but also in policy making. Okay, AI and data has a lot of it, but you need to know what is your strategy and with the strategy or even before the strategy, what do you want to achieve? Only if you know your goal, you come to a strategy and then have a plan of action and then execute it. If that strategy isn't there, how much of ever data we have, they are all only Excel sheets or CSV files. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. I think I remember you also helped DMK in the recent election, right?
Of late, in
Who is the highest bidder?
Yeah. Okay, as long as madam was there, okay, I should know that you asked me, I will tell you, I'll answer a part of this, okay. I don't know who gave you that intelligence, okay. But however, having asked that, I'll tell you. Soon after madam's death, I chose to take a back seat. I went back to Singapore to start another edtech firm. Interestingly, AiAiyo is a company that Dr. Abdul Kalam and I started together in 2002. He wouldn't have even dreamt that he's going to become President of India at that point of time. Yeah. So his dream was to build a lot of critical thinking skills in children, and that is an academician's view. I'm a hardcore, sales marketing guy. I built everything here, but branded it Singapore, so that getting entry into schools and colleges were a little easy. Okay, so we built the company. Incorporated the company in Singapore, and I didn't come here at all. 2019 elections, ADMK fought. Okay. Only one seat they could win at a cost of 100 crores. I don't know don't ask me what that 100 crores is. My data intelligence doesn't allow me to share those details. Alright, yeah. But otherwise 38 seats out, in Tamil Nadu. Immediately 21 elections, they said, call Swaminathan again, he has to run the election. I said nothing. So long as you jokers are, I'm saying jokers, you can record me and put it there because it's already in public domain. I said with these jokers, I cannot be in the party anymore, and I quit and came. After I quit and came, I have not joined any party. But that doesn't mean I have not worked for any party.
Very intelligent answer anyway. Okay, thank you.
AI student.
AI student. AI researcher. Okay. So let's move to Naveed. If any question comes in the WhatsApp, let me know. Okay. So Naveed, you talked about the role of AI in your organization and the kind of industry that you and similar industries, obviously we see a lot of challenges, okay, and the collaboration among the various stakeholders, in your organization is also very important. So I just want to understand, how when you take AI into your organization, what kind of challenges you see and did you see, and then how you have overcome.
Okay, the challenges wise, I think we work with a lot of collaborators because we don't know everything, right? We have to bring in experts like these every now and then to kind of shake the boat a little bit. So I think
they shake it totally. People
they shake it so much that we fall off sometimes, But jokes apart, what happens is it's the trusting of the data. Mostly it's the trust because we are advising clients or we are advising leadership in different countries in terms of how their assets, which are in millions and billions, how they are going to behave for the next 5 years. They are coming to us for that advice. So we have to trust that data that we are using to give that advice. So that's a big issue when the vendors come in and where is it coming from, how is it coming from, and all of that. Most of the times I think we don't use the intelligence we get. That's the intelligent part we do, that we don't use that and we use just what we have and things like that. And the other thing that we do is our whole procurement model of when we procure AI type vendors is very different now. As people from built environment, we love to scope everything. Scoping is everything for us. I know a lot of people here are in the building industry, so we want to know how much of cement and how much of reinforcement and how much of this and that. But when you're procuring something like this, you scope it out basically, but you also leave 2,000, 3,000 hours just for innovation. No procurement guy is supposed to dictate to us in terms of how exactly those 2,000, 3,000 hours are meant to be used, because that's where the innovation happens. So if I have a particular idea, and if it sails through a pursuit board or whatever in the company, then I can go into that vendor and say, hey, you know what, this client of mine has a unique problem. From those 2,000, 3,000 hours, I want to take in 2.5 hours. And I have to answer a million questions before I get that, and work with that vendor like Autodesk or somebody else to come up with a unique solution. So I think it's this type of work, the challenges that we face during procurement.
I understand, yeah. Okay, so taking from what Naveed has said, Siddharth, I want to ask you, okay, so you are the change management expert. I think you have done some of these things. I mean, and how do you see the change management within the organization when you do this AI implementation or AI adoption, and also the skills and that we need. Okay, so how do we see, because a lot of our UEF members, I mean, they are not the tech, may not be used.
Let's say a very small entrepreneur has a WhatsApp for business. Today, the WhatsApp for business allows you to look at your data and segment it in terms of what Swaminathan said in terms of customer demographic or psychographic and so on. And so today, so much of help is available online in terms of what you can do with your customer data. The simplest customer monitoring mechanism could be an Excel sheet where you have rows of your customers and his purchases over a period of time. That will give you a pattern. So Suresh also spoke about pattern recognition. So you can spot patterns in the data even if you have very little data and even if you are running a very small business. So the thinking about your business cannot just be in terms of profit and loss, but in terms of the measures that you set out for objectives, performance, risks, and trying to see patterns in your data. The difference is that, so far we've tried to be clever about it. We just sort of wing it. Everybody has a gut feel about the business or what is called experience in the business, and we try to wing it. And it's some kind of mystical stuff that only is passed on from father to son. All that cannot happen. I think it has to become more explicit so that everybody in the organization knows it. Like, are all of us on the same page kind of arguments that we have inside your organization? Make it explicit, make it formal, so that all of us in the organization can converge on a required strategy or an objective. I hope that.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, I think I believe change management is one of the key elements. Most of the time, people may not look into, or they take it granted. In my view, I think change management is a key part when you think of implementing the AI part. I think we are coming almost closer to the session, and be ready with your questions. So the last one, and Swaminathan, so this is for you. What do you see, the future of AI? Okay, so I think some of the things you already talked about it, and you gave a very good example about the railway reservation, and I can also say the Aadhaar, how it has changed, the volume of Aadhaar, and that is the base or the heart of a lot of innovation that are happening in India. So likewise, in AI, so in your opinion, what could be the future of AI and different things that may happen in different industries, especially people from UEF, they are part of different industries. We just want to hear from them.
Yes. Fundamentally, I think I want to just stress upon one point, like how we used to have ledgers and notebooks and diaries. From there, we moved to computerization. We used to have designers who would draw on paper. Then you got your Adobe, all other tools. Technology will keep evolving, new things will keep coming. That doesn't take away the human element of it. If we keep continuing to upskill ourselves and our organization, with the relevant technology at that point of time, I don't think anybody's office here, here has your old typewriter now. I'm sure. You all have at least one desktop with a printer, with an MS Word, right? So things have evolved. Those who adopt to those changes. So to answer your question, how is it going to evolve? Today's artificial intelligence will evolve to super intelligence in the next 3 to 5 years' time. Today we are talking about this model solving 10x more complex problems. While all that is for a different category of people, sitting as the middle of the pyramid or a little above the bottom of the pyramid, all of us, the small, medium enterprises, need not be worried about super intelligence and super duper intelligence and all that. That's not very relevant to 90% of the people sitting here. What is relevant is, what can I do? I am an accountant, I go to office at 9:30, come back at 5:30. Can I learn 2 or 3 AI tools that will help me fasten my process? Okay? Help me do my work more accurately without mistakes. I am a HR guy, I have to do 15 interviews. Can I shortlist which 15 I should do so that my time is wisely spent rather than doing 50 to shortlist the 15? These are the tools that they need to learn. The future of AI is as much, okay, as the speed at which we are moving today. It's going to keep growing, and the basic, as Mr. Suresh was saying, that I have to be a blessed soul to be in the Meta, league to even go and interact with an AI, a pre-trained transformer. But now it is available for everybody. Okay, my daughter decides how to make a Caribbean red, whatever pizza, not even a pizza, a pasta, and she gives a recipe to her mother saying, "Do it this way," and she says, "ChatGPT told me." And she's in 4th standard. So that's what is happening today. So any question you ask, she says, "Let me just check." They used to Google it earlier. Now they are chatting it out. Now they're chatting it out. But we are talking about ChatGPT. They seem to have awareness about 10 more tools that I too don't know. On how to make my face so ugly, and that's what children are so much exposed. So to answer 2 questions, one, is there a worry for us? Will the children lose their intelligence? No, they wouldn't. When we started, or my grandfather started, he was pedaling to office. His grandfather was cutting wood. Okay, but I am coming in a nice car. That doesn't mean that my intelligence is lost. The children will be more sophisticated, but accordingly the challenges that they have to face will also get more complex. So automatically, your neurons have to fire and get connected in order to sustain to that. So that's how I look at the future of AI.
Yeah, I think you have given a very good segue about what we are going to show as a demo at the end, what Ibrahim is going to show. And some other things that we want to show is how it is helping my life again. Okay, that's fine. And the final one is for Naveed, and very short answer I want. And what is your advice to our UEF member? Okay, so because you know about UEF, you know about our members. So one thing which you want to say, how they have to take their journey in EA.
No, I think, to our dear members, I think the only piece of advice is just start. Just do it. Obama was once asked, okay, what should, we do to thrive and this and that and all of that. You know what he said? Just do it. Don't look for that massive opportunity, that massive client that will come in, put in a lot of money, and then I will bring in AI because this client doesn't deserve AI. I don't think there is any client in the world that doesn't deserve AI. Right? Just start. Because 6 months ago, I didn't know that much about AI. In fact, I wanted to be part of the session as a UEF member to learn more about AI. So you have to put yourself in the positions where you're forced to learn, because if you don't learn, somebody else is going to come and sit next to you and start teaching you very soon. So we better gear up and get there. And you know what? We are all experts in our industry. Don't forget that. We are stalwarts. We are 30 years, 50 years into the industry, right? So what can AI do for my industry? What can AI do for my domain? That's the USP that we need to bring in. Forget about just ChatGPT and this and that. What can it do for me? I think that's where the bespoking happens.
Very relevant suggestion. Okay, so with that, I think probably we will conclude our discussion and then open it up for the Q&A.
Yes, sir. There are 2 questions in the group, WhatsApp group. I just read it out. Okay. One is addressed to Mr. Swaminathan. How AI helps in transportation to increase sales and marketing, and what is the best AI tool to analyze big data?
Fantastic. Who asked this question?
I believe the gentleman is not.
Yes. All right. Good. I was actually wondering, see, there is one salesman in me, okay, which never dies, okay. Wherever I go, I make it a point to subtly say that these are product services that you can buy, okay. One lead he gave that, you have to get trained or whatever. So I wanted to tell you, we have started AiAiyo, okay? The Aspire School of Applied and Practical AI to train people, non-techies, on how to improve productivity in your organization. Okay?
That was definitely not planned, guys.
Yeah, that was not planned, neither planted, okay? Now to answer your question, how does AI enhance sales? Okay? Today we are living in a world of B2B, B2C, B2G kind of selling, where from traditional models like where we used to advertise, get an inquiry, a call, go meet and convert, we have to discover leads, okay? We have to define the profile of a customer, and I suspect that somebody like Sharif living in a nice apartment in T Nagar, will be with one wife at home, other things unknown, okay, will be able to buy this product, for example. How do I find it?
Sharif's here.
See, now the cat is out of the bag. Okay. I just mentioned a name in the passing, and yeah. All right. Anyway, okay. And so coming back, I first define my customer profile, and I have an AI engine today which can go all out to Facebook, to LinkedIn, to wherever, and search for such people. Number one. Number two, having searched and profiled and shortlisted, the next AI engine, the robo, starts reaching out to them, understanding their type of conversations in the World Wide Web, what kind of behavior they will have, and what should in my product I highlight to them. Having highlighted, it solicits their response and then qualifies it and gives a lead score from 1 to 10. Okay, where 9 and 10 being very sure short sale, to 1 and 2 being may not be too interested. And then I'm sure you would have heard of a lot of at times when you take the call, it will say this call is being recorded for quality and training purposes. Only God knows who listens to those audios for quality and training purposes. It's never done. Look at a small company like a Star Health Insurance. Okay, I get at least 7 calls from Star Health only in a day. Okay, then imagine the other things.
But the UEF member is Star.
No, see, again, I didn't mention anything. As a trainer, I have to quote relevant examples, but not exactly say anything. Okay, it is for them to find out. Okay, so now having said that, this is also not planted. So now they call. This call, they have at least, let us say, 100 agents, each of them doing 50 calls of average 2 minutes. Look at the volume of audio recordings that somebody will have to. Now what we are doing with this AI engine is, it starts analyzing all these conversations, converts it to text, analyzes the text, does a sentiment analysis, and says so many agents stuck to the script. So many agents were able to engage the customer. The keywords that they used were this. If all other agents use this, then you start training the other agents on this. So these are all what humans cannot do, AI is doing, and that product we are developing is called Ninja CRM. If you are interested, we can talk later. So without much
One last question in the group. It's an open question for the panel. As an academician, how to incorporate AI tools for teaching methodology, and syllabus framed by the university is completely theory based and laboratory.
Yeah. I think there are many examples. Maybe one I want to say. So being in MIT here, so in the software and IT industry, the coding is one of the key elements, and the testing is the second element. We write a lot of code and then test it before we release the software. With generative AI comes into picture. Some of you might be knowing that Microsoft has a Gen AI tool called Copilot. Some of you would have used it. Copilot is basically a code gen, and similar to that is Amazon has something called the developer queue. Okay, and these tools can generate code, okay, and if you give the requirement. Gone are the days, where developer has to sit, multiple developer has to sit and write the code. For example, I saw one metrics from Amazon. For their internal use, they have used the developer queue for generating the code. They for their foundational platform, they got a code for 5,500 developer year of work. 5,500 people working in a year, whatever code they have developed. That is, it's a mind-boggling number. That is being done by GenAI. They have used this tool for their own platform. And interestingly, 80% of that code they have not changed. They used as such. Only 20% they just changed based on some of the other requirements. So that is a kind of impact. See how quickly they can release the software to the market. There's a time to market, speed to market, improved, and the customer satisfaction is improving a lot. Cost is coming down and all those things. For the academic thing, this is what we are saying. The students can do a pair programming. The student will be sitting, co-pilot will be sitting next to that, and they can interact and do the coding and learn the coding. Same thing for testing. So likewise, there are many examples I have in physics, chemistry, biology, and all those things. But there are so many use cases available in the academic thing. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'd like to add one thing. Yusuf, you're talking about very sophisticated programs and all that.
Yeah.
But for academicians, very basic, take a chat GPT. You enter something like, give me a lesson plan for, I don't know, MCA class, first year students in this subject. ChatGPT throws out, a fantastic lesson plan, which you can then use in class to begin with, I'm saying. That's a simple, let's say, way in which you can start using AI.
Yeah. For example, you can give a big book, in an electronic form or a research book, and ask for the summary or ask for the what are the key points, and it can give you immediately. You need not read everything. And by the way, the coding is no more sophisticated. Coding has come very automated. So it's
See, but what I'm saying is, today you can use ChatGPT to ask any question you would ask an intelligent person, I think, to begin with. So let's not look at ChatGPT as something which is like complicated and sophisticated and all that. Just look at it as an advisor, who knows everything, or who knows, let's say, more than you. That that is already a start. So I think anybody can, like how we are using Google search, we can all use ChatGPT in that manner. It can give you much more, I would say, a detailed and intelligent explanation to the problems that you're looking for, the solution.
To just build on to what he's saying, there's no doubt that ChatGPT or any of these transformers are pretty intelligent. Probably after this session, I would share something to Yusuf. I've created a 9-point framework on how do you interact with ChatGPT. Okay, yeah. Quality input, you get quality output. Okay, to give you a quick thumb rule, the first and foremost, I am a teacher, geography of class 5, CBSE syllabus. Define the role that you are going to get ChatGPT to talk about. Today's class is about the Indian subcontinent. I have 30 minutes time, of which 10 minutes I want to tell a story, 15 minutes I want something interactive for the students, and 15 minutes to summarize, in which I want a PowerPoint slide in 5 slides with 5 key points. To this extent, if you are able to input, okay, that keeps changing. There is only one secret I am teaching, okay? Then otherwise ASAP AI will have no work to do. Okay.
Got it.
Yeah. So that being the case, if you are able to define the role and say what all you want to include CBSE syllabus, okay? Exclude something, exclude that. And I want the whole thing in about 300 words, 500 words. If you are able to set the limit, the output that you get is even more precise. So start using it. Google search was just search once and you get results. This is a continued conversation you can have. This is more called conversation intelligence, yeah, which if you continue, it will remember what you spoke and you can start from there. Yeah.
That becomes an engineering and art. The prompt engineering, the prompt itself has become an art and engineering. Okay, so
I just had one more. So the conversation about AI, please Google online or use your ChatGPT to try and understand AI better. Because I think most of the conversations are converging around Gen AI, which is the ChatGPT and the DALI and the stuff that can generate stuff. But AI is a little more comprehensive than that. So please do whatever research is required to think about machine learning, deep learning, and the kind of AI that can actually help your business, and not restrict your search or research to just ChatGPT and Gen AI.
Yeah.
AI is much bigger than that.
Got it. Yeah. So any questions from the audience? Last question. Yeah.
Sorry, you have taken a lot of time. I know.
Yeah.
Only one question to the panelists as well as to Mr. Suresh. So I have very practical problems that I'm going through for the past few months right now. Now see, for example, I know this person for the last 10 years as an example. I've been seeing the way they articulate or they write a mail or they kind of converse in the WhatsApp chat and the other chat groups. For the past 6 months, I've been seeing a lot of improvement in the way a mail is getting structured or the message reaches us and so on and so forth. The first mail comes, there is a wow factor to me. The person writes mail in a different fashion and now it's in an absolutely different fashion. Second mail comes, third mail comes, fourth mail comes. And it's really structured. For a simple topic, there is some 4 or 5 paragraph that comes in. And it keeps on going. 7th mail, 8th mail, I call this person in the extension and say, quickly tell me what is required. So we know that they have been doing a ChatGPT and they started giving input and they're writing this mail. But somewhere or the other, it starts sounding very plastic. It's, it kind of gives the feel that it looks to be a forward mail. So is it going to evolve? If it is going to evolve, how is it going to evolve?
Yeah.
Because we are so much used to skipping, forward message or a mail. Am I the only person going through this, or there are friends for me right now?
Suresh, what did you want to say?
So forget about that email from somebody. Even if you start writing in WhatsApp or you start adding, when you say topic, it will say something else actually. You can see that it's auto-correcting happening, right? Now, in fact, you get irritated sometimes because when you very, that's one that you can be aware of yourself itself. That's an evolution. So, intelligence is adding to your thought process. And the person who is right now using ChatGPT, starting to stop thinking on their own, right? And that's going to happen because, as I talked to you about, mathematics, basic arithmetic, we have stopped thinking about it. But we have enhanced tools to do that actually. But you need to have a foundation for that. And we need to help people mature like I said, our recruitment has started. We know that by default ChatGPT is how they are writing. If they can explain the code, it's better at least now. Right. Rather than say we have to ask them to explain the email. And it is going to go. Otherwise, if we leave it to ChatGPT only, we will become plastic. And we have to be, this is a case of working with AI actually. It's like working with electricity, working with AI. I'm sure that Swami,
I just had one more point to add. What you said about content becoming uniform. Please say that ChatGPT or anything is built on the data that is already available. So there is a kind of averaging out of content that will happen. Just like mathematics, of course, can be better codified, but even in terms of content, and that's why agencies are also dying out. The initial excitement is that you don't have to pay a copywriter. But then you'll find that all copy is generally well structured, but everything is on an average okay, but it's not exceptional. So the success will go to the exceptional content and not the average content that anybody can write.
To add to what he says, yes, it gets a little monotonous. If the person giving the input stops thinking, the machine will just do what it is thinking. But there are tools, additional tools, which will help this content make it more relevant, more humanized. Probably that's what we talk in our training programs. It'll be too short a time to discuss.
I think in the interest of time, I probably will close the Q&A. And if you have any question during the break, or during the lunch, we can discuss. And I take this opportunity to thank all the panel members. I think we had a very interesting discussion, very interactive. Thank you.
He was part of DLF co-marketing team that ran the coveted inaugural DLF IPL campaign. He has successfully marketed projects worth more than 3 billion. Dear members, let's all put our hands together in welcoming the moderator of the second panel, Mr. Sheikh Abdul Qadir. Over to you, Sheikh. Bye.
What's up, people? Assalamu alaikum. So, before I could say anything, I always believe if someone is taking time out on their weekend, on a Saturday morning, to spend half a day to learn something, you guys are really onto something in your lives. First of all, give it up for yourself. Round of applause for the audience. Awesome. So, from morning, we've been hearing a lot about AI in various terms. All I could hear is what Jeff Bezos told us during the 90s and 2000s, these three words as foundational guiding principles or foundational things to build a business, which is faster, better, cheaper. Fast forward to 2024, that's what AI is actually doing. Faster, better, cheaper. Imagine you're just starting up, right? So we're in the growth session. So I'll touch on three major phases of growth in the opening remarks, and then we'll call the stellar panelists. So imagine you're just starting up. Some of you are actually just starting up. Imagine you're back in the day, starting up. You're all alone. You have limited resources. And then your time is your only asset, right? How could AI help you in this phase? You should imagine AI like a co-founder that doesn't sleep, works 24 hours, almost takes perfect decisions all the time. And it's like having 10 extra hands and 10 different brains, So, and then you're juggling all the time. You could use tools like ChatGPT, Jasper. These tools can actually run your marketing campaigns. They can automatically respond to your customer queries. And then they can even code your product actually. Now, fast forward to the next phase, which is the growth phase. Now you're having a lot of customer demand. Your venture is growing. You're onto, now you're scaling your venture actually. AI here acts as a crystal ball. With predictive analytics, you can actually stay ahead of your competition. You can know ahead of time what your customers are looking for, how the trends are poised to change, and you can truly stay ahead of your competition. So in this phase, also you will be doing a lot of marketing. So how do AI help you in automating your marketing? Imagine back in the day, how do you do conventional ads, right? You throw an ad in the market, in the media, and then you just hope that something strikes. That's not the case now, far from it. So you can actually target who's exactly looking for your product or service. And then you can track the journey throughout. And all this entire process can be automated, right? So imagine AI like a marketing assistant for you. And then you are now an established business. Now you want to stay ahead of you're managing global talent, managing global supply chain. You want to stay ahead of the curve. You want to innovate. No, you want to set the trend. Here, AI becomes a disruptive tool for you, where you can use AI to actually change the industry or even change the world as a whole. So, without further delay, let me call upon the panelists who will touch upon different aspects of growth and marketing. Our first panelist is Mr. Fahim. He is a Let's welcome Mr. Fahim. He's the founder of PYT, and he runs a digital marketing agency for last 20 years, and he's one of India's first meta ads experts. Our next panelist, Mr. Khalid, runs Eterna Automation Service. He runs a security camera surveillance company. Our next panelist, AiAiyo, is the director of growth for Cure.ai. He runs go-to-market for Cure in India. So I'll start with Fahim. Fahim, you've been dealing with a lot of SMEs and small businesses as your clientele for a long time. What's in it for them with AI? How can they enhance marketing and sales for their businesses using AI?
Thank you, Sheikh. Good afternoon, everyone. Fahim here. So, just my take on what is AI for specifically marketing and sales, because that's what the panel is about, for small and medium businesses. I think with AI, nothing has changed. At the same time, everything has changed. Let me explain what I mean by nothing has changed. How many of you use ChatGPT today? Can you put your hands up? That's everybody. So, marketing and sales is a very right brain activity. And a lot of stuff that we do get done using ChatGPT or any of the tools, that we call it tools, right? Just like ChatGPT, is a very left brain activity. And today what is happening with marketing and sales is almost everybody, all organizations, if not now, will quickly have a very level playing field. And is that level playing field good? I don't think so. Because marketing and sales is something that is very right brain driven, persuasion, psychology, so many different things. And if everybody starts using ChatGPT, the prompts can be different, the answers can be different, but I truly believe that a level playing field will be formed, which will kind of create opaqueness to sales and marketing. And that is where the importance of human intelligence, that is where the importance of foundations of marketing, branding, positioning, all of it. And we are seeing this with our ourselves as an agency when we are using various tools. We don't just use ChatGPT, we use a bunch of tools. The people who are using the tools are extremely critical in terms of helping get the outcomes in marketing and sales. So that's very, very critical. I truly believe, although all of us have created some kind of marketing material, brochures or posters using AI, Canva tools, ChatGPT, Dolly, and all those things, I think we are at a very, very nascent stage in terms of how small and medium businesses can use AI for marketing, sales, as well as things. So that is the nothing part of it, right? And the everything part of it, everything has changed. When I say this, I recall, this is way before ChatGPT, we were building our own software. We have a couple of products, and when we were building one of a particular solution, I was very proudly talking to my marketing team, especially the copywriters, and I was telling them, hey, programmers, all kinds of people can get replaced, but not the marketing folks. And lo and behold, today, we are here where the first people whose jobs will get disrupted are the marketing, sales, and the CRM kind of folks. Very famously, I think 2 years back, the TCS CEO, he himself called it out when he said that 2 to 3 years from now, call centers will not exist, right? CRM will not exist. And we are seeing this. I mean, some of you might be part of Yes or HDFC or even Amex. Today, the calls are all voice enabled, right? You have to speak to the agent, so the calling agents are gone. So, what has changed drastically is almost every aspect of my business, right, has changed, whether it is programming, people writing copy, designers, people who advertise. So as far as, so we do a lot of work with Meta, Google Ads and all that. That aspect has not yet changed drastically, although there is assistance that is available. But almost every single department in our organization has changed. As a business owner, one of the departments that I see some amount of resistance, it could be me as a leader lacking in terms of the implementation. I see the accounts department a little slower in terms of implementation. So nothing has changed in terms of the fundamentals. People will have to learn it. Everything has changed in terms of how you implement those fundamentals using various tools. Those are my thoughts.
Brilliant. So, hello, madam. Yeah. So, how do you? I just want to ask further. How does the small and medium business take the first step towards all these? Where do they get started? Do they approach an agency, or do they just use AI tools and do it themselves? How do they go about it?
Sure. I think somebody just mentioned that the agency, any outsourced business model, whether it is agency, software development, or whatever it is, right? That is definitely going to get disrupted. There's no question about it. I mean, this is what the cognizance of the world, IBMs of the world are thinking about, whether we will be relevant itself, right? So where is an agency or an outsourced model? And the kind of service providers that will evolve over a period of time will be at the highest level, right? Will not be the people who will be providing solutions that somebody can do it themselves. And because the way the cost of intelligence, the cost of tools has become extremely inexpensive, the first step I would say for small, medium businesses is to try these tools, softwares themselves before they actually reach out to an outsource provider, right? So I would highly recommend start using tools. I think a lot of us forget that before ChatGPT, right, there was a software which is getting even more powerful for creators. It is called as Canva. That kind of disrupted how people used to create marketing material, right? Otherwise, you were extremely reliant on things. So earlier, so let's say if ChatGPT was for the word, for visuals, for marketing material, you already had Canva. So I would definitely, encourage small, medium businesses to, at least in some departments, start using these tools before you actually go and figure out how to outsource and what to outsource to specialists.
Awesome. So, by the way, for the first time ever, I'm going to agree with whatever Prime says because we are in public eye. And I'm kidding, he's an expert, so I will have to agree. Moving on to Yahya. Yahya, you come from the healthcare, which is, like life-related thing, right? It's between life and death, right?
Yeah.
So, how is AI creating impact within healthcare? And how is it improving patient outcomes? Can you give some use cases as examples in your journey? Something very simple and relate, not very technical.
Sure, yeah. Thanks for that question. Actually, there was an anecdote that you used in your opening remark, right? How AI is making things cheaper, faster, and better. So that sort of applies to healthcare as well. So there's a lot of transformations that AI is driving within healthcare, within diagnostics, within patient management. There's one field of AI which is called computer vision, which Suresh sir also spoke about in the morning, where if you take a model and then train it on millions of images, and you show it a new image, it'll be able to make a prediction on it. It'll be able to say whether it's a cat or a dog. It'll be able to identify objects. So taking that same learning, we have applied that to, there are so many companies, even the company that I'm part of, Cure.ai, we are working on medical imaging, right? So, our AI tools can basically look at these scans and say what kind of abnormalities are present or absent. So, one major area where we are sort of driving or sort of pioneering the changes in is in cancer diagnosis, right? So, we are pioneering the use case for diagnosing lung cancer up to 2 years in advance. So all along, traditionally, if you look at the way lung cancer has been diagnosed so far, patients are screened for whether they are at risk or not based on the smoking history, if they have any smoking history, and based on their age, and then they're asked to undergo CT-based imaging. So what we have started doing, companies like us have started doing is, we have taken our AI for chest X-rays, and we have put that in hospitals, which will analyze routine chest X-rays, all the routine chest X-rays, and then it will spot signs of nodules which are at high risk, right? And then these patients can be called back for further confirmation and testing. So through this approach, we've been able to catch lung cancer patients up to 2 years in advance. So that's one use case. Second is that, so there's another area where the speech to text AI, right? So doctors, they actually spend a lot of time writing prescriptions, writing reports. So you have a lot of AI tools these days where you just have to dictate them and they'll be able to come up with specialized structured reports for healthcare, be it radiology reports, be it general physicians who are writing, reports for discharging patients or, writing prescriptions. This simply, saves a lot of time, boosts their productivity. They just spend more time on critical tasks rather than wasting their time on routine tasks.
Okay, so I understand the productivity part. Can you give an example of one scenario where AI has saved a life in real time in your journey, and so that the audience can
Sure. So again, I can take the same example of lung cancer, right? See, lung cancer is a highly morbid condition, and it's one of the world's deadliest killers as well. If you look at the statistics now, more than 70% of the lung cancer patients as on date, they're getting diagnosed in stage 3 and stage 4. That's when the metastasis happens, right? When the tumor starts spreading to the other organs. And that's when the patients also start showing symptoms. When it is in stage 1 and 2, it is confined within the lungs and it is usually a small mass or a nodule. And the patients, most of the patients are asymptomatic. That is, they don't display any symptoms, not even a cough, right? So there is this project that we are doing in Vietnam where we have partnered with a pharma company, and the use case that I mentioned about how AI works passively as a surveillance tool within hospitals and looks at all routine chest X-rays. So patients could have come in for, general health checkups. They could be inpatients, they could be outpatients. From all different patient pathways, whatever X-rays are being taken, the AI is going to work at the back end and look for signs of suspicious nodules. And when it spots any such signs, it is going to flag it to the radiologist or the relevant clinician. So the particular project that I'm talking about in Vietnam, we were able to catch a lung cancer patient in stage 1. So that is almost, it could be anywhere from 9 to 18 months before the onset of symptoms. Right? So that is one solution.
So AI literally does prevention is better than cure. By leveraging technology. Wow, that's awesome. Khalid, you're in the security surveillance business, right? Can you share examples of how AI has driven growth in businesses that you're working with? And I'm sure a chunk of our audience are already using CCTV cameras and whatnot, right? So can you give examples of how a layman can transform their business by leveraging security surveillance systems that are there, available in the market?
Sure. I'll try to give a small glance of the industry. In CCTV in the whole, we've been using CCTV since 1945. It was invented by Siemens to weave
their army fighting in the World War II. Just for that case, it was invented, and you've seen in the past 80, 90 years, we have evolved a lot.
Okay.
From 1945 to 1990, the next 50 years, CCTV didn't have much of a development. I've been using CCTV since early 90s. So we used to have 5-6 cameras, and to record, we need a big recorder with video cassettes. A cassette
I just took CCTV as an example.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there are a gamut of other
Yes.
gadgets and devices and whatnot. So you can cover all of them.
Yes, I
Just
will.
go beyond it.
I'll just give an example of the CCTV or how it has come from there to now. So 90s used to have cassette which can record a day of recording for a camera. Fast forward to 2024. Yesterday I've successfully completed a project for a battery manufacturer who supplies to MI Mobile. They manufacture mobile phone batteries, and they want the video to be recorded and stored for the next 18 months, because the battery comes with a 12 months warranty, and it may take up to 6 months to for the battery to go to the mobile phone and things. So they want recording for 18 months, and we are able to give that. So it has evolved a lot.
That's a lot of data, right?
And we are using vision-based product. As here said, it's completely vision-based. In early 2010, 2011, to recognize the number plate, we have a normal camera attached to a specialized software with an additional sensor. But now we have changed everything. AI has changed everything. We have been early adopters of AI in our industry. I've been using AI since 2015, 2014, since the time it started. So our camera now, a normal camera, I'm not talking about a hi-fi camera, a normal camera, CCTV camera, can work as a camera. It can work as your security guard, which can monitor the vehicle in and out. It can work as your admin manager, which can monitor your office employees in and out. It can recognize a face. It can give attendance to a particular person. And it can also work as a fire alarm system. A normal camera can also work as a fire alarm system. This is all because of AI. So it has evolved to such a level that we don't know what we have in store for the next 10 years. Maybe after 10 years, there is much more things which can be done through a camera in normal CCTV I'm talking.
So what's your take on what's going to happen in the next 10 years? Where do we see security, surveillance, and larger security ecosystem driven by AI in, let's say, 2034 or 35?
Look,
What's coming?
things have been changing a lot in the past 3 to 5 years. What happened in the first 50 years, it just took 1 to 2 years of time to capture those 50 years. And what happened in the last 10 years, in the last 1 year it's happening. So we cannot predict for the next 10 years, but at least now we are working on a project for a manufacturing company which employs more than 30,000 employees. What we do is we give them a camera which can monitor a particular person's movement across the plant. It can generate a heat map. It can generate if this hall has to have not more than 100 people, and suddenly there are more than 100. It will send a notification. You don't have to have any add-on product to your camera. It's just an AI tool which has been using. So these kind of add-ons can be done through the normal surveillance.
Gotcha. Can you give us a small example on how our audience can get started with AI security systems? I'm sure there are landlords in the room, retailers, manufacturers. So almost, I think there are educationalists here. Everyone's going to need this, right? I think it's a need of the hour. So
I believe most of them will be using it.
How can they simply get started?
I'll do that.
Uncomplex all the things and just lay it bare for them. How can they just get started?
I believe most of them will be already using a surveillance camera. It's nothing new now, but it's a very big necessity now. So I would request them to talk to the service provider and give the pain points. Camera is not only for surveillance, it can do much more. Just talk to the service provider, just give your pain points and ask them what it can be done. And maybe your service provider can give you information on how to enhance the camera to bring down your pain points. If not, you can get a consultant, you can go through a consultant, or you can approach us for a consultancy, which will give you, depending on the industry they're working on, whether it's a construction or a manufacturing or education institute. Depending on the industry, there can be a different product which can be incorporated in the same camera.
Gotcha. Moving on to Fahim, you've been in the agency business, the digital marketing business for 2 decades or 2.5 decades, right? How has AI impacted digital marketing itself? And where are we headed in the near and long term, let's say in the next 2-3 years and then in the next 10 years?
Thank you. So let me give you a, so I don't want to predict, I'm sorry, but I don't want to predict what's going to happen 10 years down the line. About a year and a half back, I spoke at a conference in Madurai on AI. I was not able to use notes from 1 year for this session. I spoke 2 months back at a Sindhi Chamber of Commerce again about AI. I went back to the deck. I could not use much of it for this session. And I want to talk about what I'm going to do this Monday. So the idea is how we are using it at AI for marketing sales within our organization. And I want to give a couple of examples, and I'll also talk about UEF itself. So yesterday, there's this person called Kulwant Nagi. You should look him up. He's like fantastic when it comes to tools and all that. So I picked his brain yesterday. As I was talking to him yesterday, I kind of realized, being a quote-unquote AI expert, I don't think anybody is an AI expert, with due respect to everybody, because the field is evolving so much, like really rapidly. So the thing is, we work with a lot of digital coaches in India. Every day they are recording 2-hour, 3-hour webinars. And as an agency, it's also our duty, my head of coaching services, she has to actually take a look at that webinar and tell what kind of mistakes the coach made when they were delivering that webinar. I just found out yesterday that Gemini has launched, I think, the beta or actual tool, the tool itself. It's called autoai.gemini.com. Take a look at that. So you can upload a bunch of videos, your good videos and bad videos, and based on that, it will analyze your new videos and tell you where you've made mistakes. So now we've been talking a lot about text, right? Language, so on and so forth. But here, the evolution is so much that we're talking about video now. That's one example. 2 is for some of our coaches and personal brands. There are so many of us here. I would just say 9 out of 10 people are shy here, but they have a lot of content information to give to people. So take a look at this tool called Synthesia. So what you have to do is you can put up 3 or 4 of your videos. The model gets trained. After that, you have to just give it script. The software will change your background. It will do the lip syncing. It will completely produce new videos using that. That is a product called Synthesia. Another one that we are looking to explore is another product called as Minvo, M-I-N-V-O, Minvo. So basically it takes your YouTube video of 1.5 hours and takes the best portions, edits, creates B-rolls, puts titles and all of those things, and gives you reels or YouTube shorts. So apart from text, what it is able to do, the job of an actual video editor is pretty staggering. And quickly to come to my organization, as a rule, every single department from accounts to coding to writing, we have made sure that everybody uses AI so that they are able to spend time to go above the level playing field. Because marketing sales, just like I said earlier, is going to become a level playing field. Only the smartest of the people are going to be able to pull it off. I'll give you an example of 2 companies. One company is called CanStock. You might not have heard of it. It's called CanStock. It's a stock visual company from, I think, from Canada. They shut down. And they said, we shut down because of this reason, Gen AI. And take a look at another company called FreePick. FreePick has implemented AI. And let me give you a very simple example of a small business. We are marketing a product, a real estate product in Madhavar. ChatGPT could not help. So the copy was Spanish Varam in Madavaram. So we had to create a visual. So we created 3 models, female models, and quickly put a beautiful Spanish hat. Within 5-10 minutes, I think anybody who uses Adobe will be able to tell you that it takes actually a few hours to think like that creatively and put such a well executed visual. So we were able to do that. So the other thing, recently about 2.5-3 months back when we met for brainstorming for the UEF session, I mean, I say this in no modesty, when we were trying to come up with the name for this session, I just blurted out, I don't think I'm any random genius or whatever it is, because the mood of the audience was such that we were all thinking and panicking. We wanted to create the sense of fear for our members. I just said, hey, why not AiAiyo? Now, ChatGPT could not have created something like that without the local context, language, so on and so forth. Maybe in the future it will do it, but I think marketing and sales is going to be largely driven by human beings with the assistance of tools for sure. So
on that note, so I'm building an AI first, video first SaaS platform. I'm a big believer of video story has already arrived, right? So what's your take? Is video the future? Has it arrived? Or is there an alternate thing that's going to take over this whole product marketing ecosystem? Where are we headed?
I think that's a great question, simply because I think what is going to happen is it's so easy, plastic, synthetic, to create a lot of text content. Websites are going to get long, blogs are going to get long, people's speeches are going to get long, just because there's a whole lot of content around. And I think video makes a big difference because multimodal, I mean, you're looking at people. So already that shift has happened in terms of video. I think we read it through videos today through captions, right? So I think
let me just break in and just rephrase. The reason I ask this is, we all know that AI has arrived, right? So everything is almost pretty much going to be automated. So what are we left with? All that we're left with is free time. And that's why this video entertainment thing is going to be the future, is what I believe. So what's your take on the whole, what's this free time going to do to the world once all things are going to be automated, you know what I mean?
That's a bit philosophical question is what I feel. What are we going to do with our free time? I would actually just pass that question. I mean, it's a bit more on the philosophical side.
Okay. So, moving on to Yahya.
We do more sessions like this.
Absolutely. That was a good one. Yahya, so, can you throw light on how do our audience identify scope of implementing AI? Where do they start? Can you talk about resources and how do they scale it?
Sure.
Can you talk in general sense and probably you can take examples from healthcare?
Yeah. So I think this question was sort of touched upon by others in the earlier sessions. See, I think when it comes to AI, right, I think in the morning keynote session as well, Suresh ji mentioned that some of the best kind of AI that we see around us, we're not even aware about it, right? So some examples, like the real suggestions that you get, social media algorithms, the kind of recommendations that you get, and they have sort of percolated deep into our day-to-day lives that we find it very difficult to work without them. Imagine a cab driver today not using Google Maps for route optimization, right? I mean, even today I don't drive without the assistance of Google Maps, right? Because it just makes my job easier. I don't have to think about whether I'm going in the right direction or not. So I think thumb rule is that when you're going about implementing AI within your organization, within processes, it just has to blend in seamlessly. I think that is one very important point. So it needs to be indistinguishable from human behavior, right? It should just look like as if another human is just performing that task. When it comes to sort of specifics around how to identify such areas, just look at areas where there's a lot of manual, repetitive work being done, right? Again, taking the example of sales and marketing, I think every organization does lead generation, right, for their businesses. They have to build a decent sales pipeline so that their revenues are healthy. And they do a lot of outreaches. So outreach mailers can simply be automated by a lot of AI tools these days. You can just plug it into your sales CRM, link it with your inbox, and it just saves a lot of time. You just have to create a template, personalize it according to the target audience, and then you'll be able to work on it, right? And then the second thing is look at areas where you have already digitized some of the processes, right? Because over there's going to be a lot of data which is going to get stored within your organization. So then you can think about how you can, use that data, right? I think some of you would be into manufacturing, right? So one example could be machinery of time, the kind of inventory that you're holding. So again, there's a lot of commercial AI tools these days which can help you with inventory management, which can proactively help you with predictive maintenance, right? So sort of before anything breaks down at the customer end, it just gives you alert on what could possibly go wrong. So these are some of the use cases. And then if you're not entirely sure about implementing AI, again, you can look at doing small-scale validations and small-scale pilots within your organization, right? Like just pick a particular task or activity that you want to automate using AI, and then look at what vendors are out there in the market. And these days, given that AI sensitization within a market like India is still new, a lot of these commercial AI vendors would be open for doing these small-scale pilots. You set a certain success criteria and then see if it is getting achieved or not. So those are some of the ways in which you can look at identifying and then establishing the use cases which can be disrupted by using AI. Right?
Got it. So, all right, we are almost at the end of the session, the panel discussion. I'll throw one last quick question, and all three of you can take this. Actually, we're talking about companies like large global organizations like Nike. I'll take Nike for an example. They have millions of customers worldwide, right? Today, none of their ads shown to an individual user is shown to another user. There are no two similar ads. So we're talking about millions of different ads. What's the stage of personalization right now, and where is this headed? Any one of you can take. I'm Khaled.
That's a nice question, there were two consistent remarks said about AI, that AI is future and relevant data is important. I definitely beg to differ on this. AI is not future, AI is present. And it's not the relevant data. Any data is important. There will be a time in AI, probably in the near future, the AI can get all those data and give in a relevance way, in whichever way you want, and depending on the company or depending on the individual, it can generate that data. Through the data, it can generate information which can be relevant to you. So any data is important. It's not that personalization or anything. Through that data, personalization is always possible. Without those specific data, personalization or individual ads or other things, it's not possible. So data is important. Whatever may be, collect the data, store it. There will be a time you need to execute those data through AI-based tools. Definitely you can get ways.
Fine, your take on personalization?
In the interest of time, as far as marketing and sales is concerned, let's talk specifically about advertising, right? Like you mentioned about Nike, whether it is Meta, Google, LinkedIn. all of them have been using AI for the longest period of time, probably about 10 years or so, in terms of, Suresh so eloquently spoke about the personalization of ads and all of that. So, hyper-personalization, whether the authorities will allow, whether it is the GDPR policy of the Europe or in the US, whether that will be allowed, we'll have to wait and see. But I think we are already in an era of hyper-personalization in terms of advertising, at least, with specific to marketing and sales.
Yeah, I think when it comes to consumer-focused industries, I sort of agree with my fellow panelists over here. I just wanted to sort of say that, like, when you're using AI, it just augments your productivity and the work and the particular task that you're doing, right? So you should not see that as a threat. You should sort of see that as an edge that is going to give you some competitive edge over others. So I just wanted to leave it at that note. Do not have a lot of opinions on hyper-personalization at this point.
Got it. All right, so that was it. I hope you all enjoyed. Can we throw to the audience for your
Probably
questions?
for want of time, probably one question. Yeah, yes. Yeah.
You can
here the question for
mention-
you.
Okay.
Your solution is going to detect lung cancer ahead of time, right? That is going to disrupt a big industry like surgery, chemo, radiation, and the very industry you're trying to market. What is the resistance you're facing?
No, so that's a very good question, right? Ultimately, if you look at healthcare, right, if you look at the bottom line, everybody is trying to improve patient outcomes. So, again, like with this whole lung cancer approach, we work with multiple stakeholders. We work with healthcare providers, hospitals. We work with pharma companies who are trying to market oncology drugs. Again, pharma companies are spending billions of dollars in clinical trials to come up with early stage cancer drugs. One example is AstraZeneca, another example is Merck. So we work very closely with AstraZeneca again. So there's a lot of, again, marketing power behind these, pharma behemoths. So when we started back in 2020, there was a lot of opposition to our approach because it was against the standard of care. It was already well established that if it is going to be lung cancer screening, it needs to be only done by using CTs. So for us to power through with the approach that lung cancer screening can also be done using X-rays, we needed to do a lot of real-world validation studies. We needed to do these studies. We needed to do these deployments, the small pilots in hospitals globally, and we needed to publish scientific papers in peer-reviewed journals. So this actually happened over the last 2-3 years, right? And then when we started showing all of this evidence to healthcare providers, that's when they started being receptive about the idea. So I wouldn't say there was a lot of opposition because, again, there were so many interests involved from different sets of stakeholders. But because we were trying to challenge the standard of care, at that point in time, there was some opposition. But again, by using some evidence that we have generated as on date, we were able to overcome that challenge.
I hope your question is answered.
I have a question for Mr. Fahim. So, yeah. So now, I have been in IT background and I have moved to the family business. Okay, and primarily my job is to kind of how I can improve through AI and technology. So kind of started using, I do agree with your point that, if you have a technology background, I myself can use all the software tools. So Canva is good for marketing, right? And then I use for content also ChatGPT. But when it comes to accounts, right, that department, where do you think I can use AI? What are the use cases? I mean, so as a retail kind of organization, right? So where is it actually I can use? Because I see them doing billing and they use Tally. I mean, where can AI be used, especially for that team?
Sorry, your name, ma'am?
Zainab.
Zainab. Okay. bad question. All right, I'll tell you why that's a bad question. So almost everybody in this audience, I'm assuming, is not a developer, right? What I believe is happening today is, I think it's from the era of the nerds, right? From the era of the code, we are moving to the era of the word. So the whole idea of AI is everything is related to prompt. Everything is not related to coding because AI has taken care of it. So for this audience and for everybody at large, all you need to do is just be decent enough in English. For example, today, I don't even have to prompt. If I just throw a screenshot of an Excel sheet, it gives me a summary automatically without me even having to ask a question. So that's the reason why I said part one of the question was bad, because you don't have to be a programmer. You don't have to be technical. It's just important that you're able to understand what your problem is and prompt it enough to get. Canva is not difficult. You don't have to be a programmer. None of the tools that I talked about just now, you have to be good at programming or technically good at it.
Right. Primarily my question was how to use it for accounts.
I'm coming to that.
I'm not talking about programming.
Yes.
I'm talking about how I could use it for my accounts team. How can I make their process or their life easier?
Got it, Zen. So I'll come there. The reason why I said that is when we started with that premise, it could just scare people off. Already, people are afraid to sit in front of a laptop, a computer. They think ChatGPT, all this AI thing is like no AiAiyo kind of a thing. So that's the problem that I'm looking to solve in my organization. I think a lot of people, like if you recall when I said one of the departments that is kind of resisting is the accounts department. So I would say the first step would be, I mean, almost 9 out of 10 businesses, small, medium businesses use Tally. We use Tally also. Tally has API. All right, so that's number one. So I would figure out how to use the Tally API. Number two is, Mr. Suresh talked about RPAs, right? Robotic process automation. So there are a bunch of companies today who can actually automate your book entry systems. So we are looking to implement that. There are at least about 3-4 companies in India. So basically, as simple as that. Let's say all your billing invoices are in one folder. The RPA bot can take a look at that folder and punch in all the entries into the Tally so that your accountant can just verify and confirm the data and actually use that time to do something more important like calling for payment, so on and so forth. So I think the Tally's accounting area specifically is worth for organization. I think it's a good opportunity to solve that problem. And I think for providers also, I think it's a good problem to tackle also, just at the Tally level. Sorry.
Can I give some input?
Suresh, you want to go for it?
For account, if I can add on to what Prime said, there is another program called Zoho. Zoho uses lots of AI. You don't have to be an accountant to use Zoho. I'll just give a small idea of how Zoho uses. You create, at the starting of a business is, you create a company name, the vendors, not about your company. You create a customer name. Okay, when you giving a proposal, you create a pro forma or a quotation or something. When the pro forma is done, the Zoho will automatically send a message, or email to the client. And the client can accept the email through the same mail by click of a button. When it's accepted, it will automatically generate a sales order. The sales order will automatically generate an invoice. The invoice will go to the customer, and customer can see all the transaction in a private account. I mean, you will be given every customer will be given a private username, password. All those transactions, the particular transaction can be seen by the customer themselves. They don't have to check their mails. They don't have to go back and come from. They don't have to do all those things. Just check, go into their account, go to the Zoho account, and give whatever username and password have been given by you, and they can trace everything. Okay, once that is done, and if you're a big company, you have invoices over 50,000, and that from the same page you can generate a e-way bill. From the same page you can generate a e-way bill. Okay, then invoice is done, everything is done, the material is going. You can generate a click of a button, you can generate a delivery order, a delivery note. So the transaction is complete. When the transaction is complete, you will be receiving a payment. Even that you don't have to manually enter it. You just link your bank account to Zoho, Zoho will capture bank account every 15 minutes or every 30 minutes, depending on what time frame you give, and it will automatically match that particular amount. If just imagine you have sold a product to me and I am paying 1 lakh rupees, or maybe I am paying around 99,550 rupees. When this transaction comes, the Zoho will identify this transaction against an invoice if it's matching, and it will give you a matching number. If it's not matching, it will give you a suggestion on how to match it. So you don't have to do anything. And after this, click of a button, you can see your transaction in the past 10 years, how long you have been using Zoho. Last 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, whatever the year is. September, how much I have done business, and this year, how much I am doing business. There are a lot more tools in Zoho. I think you can please try it.
That's a great pitch for Zoho. Look, Zainab, looks like your organization, my organization, have to move to Zoho now. Thank you for that.
You can answer.
That's a great question to, reason is, if you don't know where to put AI, that's a great place to start actually. First, think that way, right? And you have an opportunity to think AI first approach to accounting. Wait a second. And accounting is not an independent function. It's a very, very connected function. Unfortunately, in the past, to organize ourselves, we have organized as different departments, etc. It's actually very interdisciplinary. If accounting is the only function that you do as a business, for example, you think very differently. So you know every damn process goes into the accounting. So we never taken, inputs on how the process works. What is the current process? What do you want to improve? We don't even think like that. So take a first step is understanding the process and write down all goes into that actually. So like I said, you send emails, you create invoices, you collect money in parts. They have to be reconciled. Assuming that you want to have a balance sheet every day. Every day you want to have a balance sheet of business. You want to put some questions, hard questions like that. I want to know how many customers are not paid. Net 7 means, net 6, I want to know all the customers that I need to collect money today. And then vendors I need to pay, net 30, net 29, I want to know overall I'm still pending, right? Credit history I don't want to go. You want to put some, even if you're a smallest business, even if you're collecting only 10,000 a day, let's say that, 10,000 is a cash flow every day. I want to know what's my start cash, what's my end of the cash. Put that kind of questions, AI first approach, then everything will follow. Zoho is also a great sales pitch, however, it's all lock-in actually. You don't have to lock into a specific tool. You are not driven by a tool. Many tools provide opportunities. You think about how to run your accounting differently. That's where you want to start actually. And if you're an insurance company, if you're a financial management company, that's what you do for a living actually. You think like that. You don't have to think very differently. Finance is not it's not an accounting department. That's what I would say. I'm sorry for the wrong answer, but think AI first, think process first, think data first, think everything in disciplinary. Thank you.
Thank you for the lovely input, sir.
All right, so we've come to the end. Thank you so much. You've been a wonderful audience.
Thanks a lot. Just have a small question to all the people over here. Now let's assume that Olympic relay race of 400 meters, 100 into 4. Where do you think Usain Bolt will run? In the beginning or in the end? Where do you think Usain Bolt will run? Quickly. In the end. Well, lovely. Okay. Now let's assume that there is a match of IPL which is happening, and Dhoni, when do you think he will come? He will come in the beginning or in the end in the slog overs?
Last ball sixer.
Oh, that's great. Like that, the best is always reserved for the last, and we do have the best, our Usain Bolt of UEF, our Dhoni of UEF, who is going to give you some practical demos on how AI can be used. He is an international speaker, he is a Forbes member, he is an AI in fintech expert, he is an investment banker who helps companies to grow in a Sharia-based manner. The list goes on. I don't want to waste time. Without further ado, I'd like to call upon our young member, Gibran, to take over and show what AI can do all about. I want each and every one of you to give a big round of applause, please, quickly.
Very good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum. It's an absolute pleasure to be amongst all of you. Sharif bhai, mashallah, he's been really lighting up the show today with his amazing punch dialogues. I must say that, really bringing in energy to all of us. the session today, AiAiyo, has been fabulous and mind-blowing. Surprisingly, all of us are quite surprised with the content which came, starting off with Suresh sir, who very simply put forth what AI is all about in terms of foundation. And his simplicity of putting words to us shows the depth of understanding he has. And further on, we had amazing panel discussions where all the panelists shared their experiences, their understanding about AI and how they're using it in their day-to-day lives. I must say I learned a lot, and I have been given the session to conclude today, and I hope I still have my 30 minutes because I think we have been pushed a little bit too much. But
we will have Zohar after this.
okay, so we'll have Zohar after this. So I'll try to make my session as engaging and interesting as possible. I do understand that we came across a lot of theory today, but before I get into the session, I want to understand how many of you actually understand AI? Anyone? No one. It wasn't a 2 hours space now. Okay, fine. How many of you use ChatGPT in day-to-day lives? Okay, great. How many of you think that ChatGPT only is AI? Okay. Now, what I would like to do today is understanding how the session went. I had done a small pivot in my presentation just 45 minutes back based on the suggestions which we received. So we'll try to make it more engaging. So my session will be for first 15 minutes a little conceptual and theoretical, and the next 15 minutes a little more practical. To start off with, I would like to help you understand a little bit about myself. I'm into Islamic fintech, and we focus on blockchain and AI into fintech. And further on, I would like to start off by telling that we all are at risk. Do you agree that we are at risk?
Yes. Yes.
Why?
Disruption.
Disruption?
Because that's life.
That's life, okay. Do we agree we are at risk? Sir, do you agree we are at risk?
I'm an optimist always.
Optimist always, great. So, how many of you think we are at risk? Okay, why do you think we are at risk? Why? Quickly, I need some answers. Why are we at risk?
Lot of disruption around.
Lot of disruption, okay, and?
The future is uncertain, you know.
Upscale uncertainty, okay.
What to do with our free time?
What to do with our free time? Anyone thinks that the risk is because of AI? No. Okay. So according to Benjamin Graham, who is the teacher of Warren Buffett, the famous investor, he defines risk as not knowing what you're doing. If we do not know what we are doing, we are always at a state of risk. Do you agree?
Yeah.
If you don't know how to drive, if you're driving, you're at risk. You don't know how to work in a company, you are at risk. You don't know how to eat and take care of yourself, you are at risk. Similarly, if you do not know where the technology is moving towards and where things are heading towards, are we not at risk? We are at risk. So to eliminate the risk, I would urge all of you to understand what is happening and where things are going. And this is the most important aspect of my session today. Quickly, in 5 minutes, I'll summarize. We all understand that the internet has evolved drastically in the last 30 years, correct? So how has it evolved? Internet started off with Web 1, where all we could do in the internet was read in the internet. The days of AOL and MSN, that is between 92 to 2003. And eventually the internet transformed itself to Web 2, where not only you can read, but you can also write, edit and blog. And majority of the companies here who became successful have become multi-billion dollars, some became multi-trillion dollar companies also. The reason being that data was the king here. Whoever had the aggregation or were owning the data were able to make it big. Similarly now, internet has transitioned itself to Web 3, where you can not only read, write, edit or blog, but you can also own the internet. Now what do you mean by ownership of internet? A simple understanding is, you as an end user of data, your data is used for ads for other people. But what if you can actually make money for your own data? What if your browser tells you, I will pay you money for your data? So if you have an employee's strength of around 500 to 1,000 people, all of them are using internet, they are getting ads and Google is making money. What if they are able to make money out of it for their own data and you can make money out of it for your own employees? So Web 3 is something which has evolved, transitioned gradually in the last 4 or 5 years, and how it is overall placed. This is in my limited understanding. I understand we have a lot of tech experts here, with due respect to them. I'll try to put something which I have come across in terms of my research and understanding. The new form of internet, according to me, is no more linear in nature. It starts with, in the center with AI, which is at the core of everything. The foundation of it is more decentralized in nature, DLT technology, that is blockchain and various other formats. The upper layer of internet is more virtual and 3D in nature. Internet wants to become more holistic now. If you see what Mark Zuckerberg did with the new lenses which he launched, he said that he put a team of developers for this 10 years in advance. Okay, so the idea is that internet will become more holistic in nature, AR, VR, and Meta. All of this will be integrated through IoT, Internet of Things, and then internet will transition from 5G to 6G, which will make it more intense and more integrated. And then to make it more secure, we'll have quantum KYC and various quantum computing related things. And obviously data will become more predictable in nature, making predictable data analytics. Now, if just to understand internet, you need to understand all of these things. Any tech company to scale up in internet, they need to be able to at least have a brief idea about this. Do we agree? So similarly, I don't want you to get overwhelmed or get confused about this. We need to understand where the technology is moving. Things are moving fast. Things are moving in a different scale, and things are moving in a 3D perspective. To help you all understand all of this, a simple perspective of how the future of AI is going to be. Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, very recently said that we will be hiring AIs as assistants in our company, where AI will work with AI. For example, if I want to merge with your company, my AI will discuss with his AI all the nitty-gritties, the pros, the cons, the accounts, the finances, the balance sheets, the due diligence audits, everything. And we will negotiate. For this event, for the AiAiyo event, I think our tech team has sat for almost 20-25 days. But what if in the future, our AI is sitting and discussing and eventually come on the stage and just talk? Okay? So the idea is, there are chances that AI will evolve in the future to a point where it will work for you. And this is something which he says is not away 3 to 5 years. Elon Musk says 6 years. So this is something which we need to understand is going to be the future of AI, and that is something which we wanted to explain. Now all of us keep talking about ChatGPT. All of us keep thinking that ChatGPT is what we have to use. So today, just to make it very simplified, we will talk a little bit about ChatGPT and 2 or 3 more other tools which you can use for our day-to-day activities and how I use them in my everyday routine. A simple outline of ChatGPT: you have multiple models. You have model 4, 4.0, 4.0 mini, model 01 and model 01, 01 mini and 01. Does anyone know what's the difference? No one understands? I remember someone was saying, by the time, the other guest today, by the time we understand what's 3.5, 4 is coming. By the time we understand what's 4, 4.0 is coming. So we all don't understand what it is all about. But a simple, concise approach of it will be, each of them has their own particular tasks to do. 4 works good for general tasks, basic prompts, writing mails, understanding basic things when it comes to your day-to-day activities. 4.0 is very good for more of versatile tasks, that is integrating multiple channels, putting 2-3 apps together and navigating between them, being able to create some sort of a solution. And obviously now you have 1.0.1, which is 100 times more advanced than 4.0, where it thinks like a real human being. So majority of these versions work very well for different segments of it, and you can use it accordingly. Misconception or something which I'd like to help you understand is that Suresh sir, I remember he was telling a very interesting thing that intelligence will be like a plug now, where you put a socket and you get it out. Similarly, many people think ChatGPT is a search tool or is some sort of an assistant which allows you to just improve your tasks. But ChatGPT is just a portion of what OpenAI has developed. The entire backend of ChatGPT is a workspace where you can put a socket in and you can use the intelligence of ChatGPT to automate everything on your day-to-day basis. It is said very recently by Bloomberg that very soon there will be a $1 billion unicorn based completely on AI and just one founder. So that is what is expected out of the future of the AI industry. So we urge people to understand how GPT workspace works. You can plug in multiple apps, you can plug in your calendars, you can plug in everything, and your entire day's routine can be automated through ChatGPT. And quickly, before I get into the practicalities and the training of it, many people do prompting in ChatGPT, but there are some basic techniques which ChatGPT requests you to have when it comes to having the best possible outcomes. The multiple ways of prompting: one is zero-shot learning, the other is one-shot learning, and the third is few-shot learning. Zero-shot learning, very simple. You directly put in data, I want this, and this is how I want it, you get the outcome. One-shot learning, you give it a particular task saying, I am probably a speaker today in a session, I would like to do a presentation, can you help me with the content for the presentation, which you can put it as a wireframe. The next format of it is few shot learning. I head the account for my company. I need to present a report today. By the end of the day, give me a set of questions which you will ask me. If I answer you, your report will be the most accurate to what I want. For example, I might not know anything about education industry. If I have to do an accounts for the education industry, I'll ask ChatGPT, this is my role today, this is exactly what I'm planning to do. Please ask me a set of questions which I can answer to you so that you can be the most relevant to the result which I want. So that is few shot learning. How you are supposed to craft the prompt? For the best prompts and the best results, you need to have 6 points in the prompt. Task, content, exemplars, persona, format and tone. You should be able to tell the task. Today, you start with the context. Today, I am a speaker for the session. My task is to deliver a presentation. And the example is, I would like to do it like something which I would like to do in GITEX in Dubai. And give a reference of a video if you have in YouTube. And then tell the persona would be, I want it to be subtle, soft, a little humorous in nature. And the format should be in a certain value, that is, I want it to start off with something general, then pure content, and then end it off in a normal way. And the tone should be, I want it to be more confident and bold. So when you're able to tell this in one single prompt, the majority of the results which you get is very close to what you need. And that's exactly how you can work with it. Something I'd like to add here before I get into the more practical side of things is that you should not look at ChatGPT as a search engine. You should look at ChatGPT as a communication engine, like a best friend. Like for example, the other day I was sitting bored. I decided to just open my phone and then I just look at the ChatGPT app. And then ChatGPT suddenly tells me, there's an audio version of ChatGPT. Does anyone use this?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, okay. Hey ChatGPT, so today I am here with my friends for a presentation. Could you quickly say hi to them, please? Hey ChatGPT, could you say hi to my friends here, please? Okay, sorry. 1 second, please. Okay. So quickly before we get into it, you can use ChatGPT as a conversation. So yesterday night what I was doing, for 45 minutes, I was just talking to ChatGPT, talking to him in multiple languages, telling him that I have this presentation tomorrow and I want to excite them with something. Do you have something you can offer to me which they don't know about? You have something which I can learn, which is more interesting, which I can share with them, and how exactly can I use you in different formats? Like similarly, the madam here asked how we can use accounts in ChatGPT. I just sat and I wanted to ask accounts. He said some basic answer. I said, sorry, this doesn't make sense to me. Tell me something in a step-by-step manner which I can use as a layman and how can I connect. So it gives you a step-by-step process. And then I think, okay, I have no understanding, zero tech on outline about how I can connect this app to this app. Can you teach me how to do? So it teaches you each step, bifurcates it. The more questions you ask, the more accurate solutions it gives to you. So that is something which is more easier for you. Now coming to an outline of how, again, credits to Fahim Bhai for my day, which is a very interesting heading. So a day with AI. So probably I start in the morning with prayers, and then I look forward to spend some time in the morning from 5 to 7, where I would like to learn, do little meditation, workout and a day's planning. And then eventually go to office, some reports, understand where the red flags are, some solutions, HR, hire and fire policy, or whatever reviews I need to do with my employees. How can I use ChatGPT to do a periodical review of my employees every 10 days or 15 days to understand where their flaws are, where the problems are, and how I can work much deeper with them. Pitch deck, I'm into investment banking, so I work with my clients to help raise funds. So how can I develop a pitch deck, run it across various handles, and make sure we are able to raise investments, make sure we are able to connect the pitch in a very customized manner to our clients, pitch it to various people in LinkedIn through AI itself, interact with our clients with an AI bot, filtering majority of our data, and learn a new skill if I want to, like some form of martial arts, if I want to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I was asking ChatGPT, can you give me some new form of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu which I can do at home so that it can help me out. So that is something which can be done. And obviously sometimes when I go home, probably my wife is not in the mood to cook, so I thought, okay, let me impress a little bit. I take a photo of all the ingredients which is there at home, tell ChatGPT, give me a quick recipe to make it in 15 to 20 minutes, and probably gives me a quick recipe to make. And suddenly sometimes probably she is grumpy because I came late, continuously for 3 days. Then I asked ChatGPT to give me a good shairi which I can tell my wife in poetry in Urdu. So that is also something which I can do. And then probably I'm too lazy to read books, but I love reading books. So I upload the PDF to ChatGPT and tell me, please give me a summary of this in 500 words. So that is also something which I would like to do on a day-to-day basis. An outline of it would be, again, starting with morning. You can quickly take off your phone. If at all you're bored in the morning, you want to learn something new, you again open the chat, you go to the chat there, and then you click on the voice button, and then you will get a green, you will have a symbol which will come here, which will tell you are ready to speak. Hey ChatGPT, how are you?
Hey there, I'm doing great, thanks for asking. How about you?
I'm doing good. I'm right now in a session doing a live demo of you to my audience. Without embarrassing me, can you help me with something which I can learn today and I can teach the audience?
Absolutely, no pressure. How about we explore how ChatGPT can help draft professional emails?
No, that's boring, that's boring. Can you tell me something more interesting which the audience doesn't know?
Sure thing. How about showing how ChatGPT can help generate creative content? For example, we can
boring
craft
again. Tell me something I can learn for me which is not inclusive of ChatGPT and something on a day-to-day basis.
Got it. How about learning a simple memory technique? The loci method is an ancient technique where you visualize a familiar place, like your home, and associate each item you want to remember with a specific location within that place. It's great for memorizing lists or key points for a presentation.
Interesting. Okay, so my audience seems to be a little more serious and a little tired today. Can you give me a quick update on Tirukkural? I'm going to tell you one Tirukkural. Tell me what is the meaning of it. Okay, I'm bad at Tamil, but still. Can you do it for me?
Of course. Share the Tirukkural with me, and I'll explain its meaning.
Okay.
I'm here to help.
Please don't laugh. Karka kasadara karpavai, katrapin nirka adarka taga. What's the meaning of it?
No laughing, I promise. This Tirukkural emphasizes the importance of learning. It means... Oh, sorry about that. Let me break it down. This Tirukkural means the things learned are the firmest foundation. It is the duty of one to conduct himself accordingly. It stresses the importance of learning and applying knowledge in life.
Great. So everyone is applauding. Everyone is applauding. Please thank them.
Thank you, everyone. I'm thrilled you enjoyed it.
Yay, great. Can you please do this in Tamil also, please? Can you just help them understand the same thing in Tamil?
உங்கள் அனைவருக்கும் நன்றி. உங்கள் அனைவருக்கும்.
Email continue.
Oh, sure. In Tamil, கற்க கசட கற்பவை. கற்ற பின் அது மாட்டாக நருந்துகள். அதாவது கற்றது வாழ்க்கையின் உறுதிப்படையாகும். அது அடிப்படையில்.
Okay. Enough. Okay. So I'm going to the next slide. Please be live. I'm probably going to the next slide. Okay. So going to the next slide. So I learned something new. Did you learn something new? ChatGPT and talking different languages. Okay. Some applause for ChatGPT. Okay. So to start off with my morning, the other day I was thinking how can I probably, no, it's okay. I was thinking the other day how I probably can do some sort of a meditation. Today I have an important session, afternoon I have something, and then in the night I have something. I wanted in 15 minutes to recharge my energy, and I realized that my father used to read this book called The Silva Method by a famous guy, if I'm not wrong, in the US. It was like a 100-year-old big guy. I said, I don't have the time to read the book. I really don't have the time to work on De Silva. So I asked ChatGPT, can you help me with something about De Silva, which I can do in the morning for 10 minutes, which will allow me to become fresh and energetic. And ChatGPT helps me with De Silva method. It tells me, for 15 to 20 minutes, breathe like this, imagine like this, think like this, do like this. If you want, you can read it. If you want, you can ask it. Whatever you want, you can do. In 15 minutes, you are able to implement that and you are able to understand ChatGPT much better. So you have to understand and work with it like it's your personal secretary, and trust me, I play with it like anything. I shout at it, I yell at it. My wife is angry with me, I'm angry with him. Okay, I tell him, my wife is shouting at me, what can I do right now? So basically, it becomes my friend in need and a partner in need though. Okay, so the next part is workout plan. I am very lazy today, I had a tiring day, I need a 20-minute HIIT workout just to increase my heart rate so that tomorrow when I eat a lot of coffee, drink tea, a lot of sugar, I don't want it to run on my body and become a little lethargic. So I start with a 20-day routine which it gives me with a video also. And it allows me to do it. So this is a live recording because our team was very scared that if I do a live recording here, the silence will become very awkward. So I recorded it as much as possible for you, and I hope that it's not very awkward, you're able to understand. And further on, a little bit twist from ChatGPT. So I asked my team quickly saying that, okay, I want people to understand ChatGPT. All of you are coming here to learn something new. If I tell you the same thing about ChatGPT again, what are you going to do? Put this as a prompt. Everyone will get bored. At the end of the day, the conclusory session should not be like at the which you already know. So the idea was, do you know that you can actually schedule your entire calendar with your emails and everything through AI? So I used Gemini, which is a little different than ChatGPT, just did a simple prompt and asked it to go through my entire calendar, and it scheduled the entire set of things I have to do for this week, placed my calendars, did my reminders, and told me what all mails I need to reply to. Because how does Google work? Google works through your mails, through your emails, through your work, through your saving list, through your calendars. So it goes through all of your Google apps, understands what you have to do, build a particular outline, and then from there it's able to build a complete outline of what you want to do in terms of events, in terms of integrating it in the calendar, and also setting up reminders also. So if you want me to go through this, you're ready to wait and watch, or should I shift to the next one? You want to see? Okay. So yes, exercise and market news review for stock markets early in the morning. Breakfast meetings, investor calls, tech lead meetings, review financial reports, launch and potential partner. Okay, team brainstorming, everything. So basically you have an outline, everything set, and then you can integrate ChatGPT with this and ask you to give solutions for each of this. The idea is, how can you spend 100 hours only to understand what is AI and how is ChatGPT? According to the latest reports, Zoho, one of the leading companies in India, hires people with a strict policy that they can learn a particular technology in 100 hours. So if you're able to understand a technology in 100 hours, they say that you're better than 80% of the people who are using it. And the idea is that how can you use AI in your day-to-day basis to become better at it, simplify your work, reduce your stress, become more automated, and make it more interesting for all of you. Planning out an entire day. Then the next aspect of it is operations, office reports, and many other things, basically which involves a lot of language related things. So something very interesting for you, which we again thought that we should do. So I think Suresh sir was speaking, right? Can you put the volume? So we thought that Suresh sir was speaking in a very nice English language. We thought let's present him to the Arabian market. So we made Suresh sir speak in Arabic.
سواء كانت تكهربا كبيرا او صغيرا لديك، فان النقاط للاستهلاك هي في الواقع هذا كل شيء.
It's a good. Arabic is very close.
اللحظة اللي يكون عندك فيها واجهة للمستهلك ما نكترث حتى لذلك، حتى الصفحات نفسها لا تزال موجودة.
By the way, his lips also sing to it. You
إذا
cannot see
أرسلت
it.
إصبعك داخل المقبس فمن المحتمل جدا أن تضمن موتك فعليا، ويمكنك أن تتسبب في حادث كهربائي كما تعلم بسهولة كبيرة.
Then I was like, let's have some more fun.
கலிபோர்னியாவை ஒளி செய்யும் அல்லது இது அனைத்தும் சார்ஜிங் பற்றியது. நமக்கு ஒரு இடைமுகம் தேவை. அது வர்த்தக இடைமுகமா அல்லது நுகர்வோர் இடைமுகமா என்பது முக்கியமல்ல. இது பெரிய மின்சாரமயமாக்கலா அல்லது சிறிய மின்சாரமயமாக்கலா என்றால் நீங்கள் உண்மையில் பயன்படுத்த வேண்டிய புள்ளிகள்.
And this can be done with his eye contact to you, can be done with his lips syncing to you, and looks very original.
அதை பற்றி நாம் கவலைப்படுவதில்லை.
Number
كيف نتنبأ بالنوبات القلبية؟ كيف نتنبأ بالسكري؟ خلاف كل ذلك.
He actually suits the Arabic culture.
أعتقد أنك قد قمت بنفس المشروع. نعم، إذا هذا موجود في جميع أنحاء العالم. أعتقد سواء كانت جامعة كامبراس أو جامعة مدراس، هذه مشاريع معيارية. أقول بخلاف ذلك هناك العديد من الابتكارات. كيف இதய தொல்லையை எப்படி கணிக்க வேண்டும், நீரிழிவை எப்படி கணிக்க வேண்டும், சரி, ஆம், அங்கு சில பெண்கள் சிரிக்கிறார்கள். எனவே நான் நினைக்கிறேன் நீங்கள் இதே திட்டத்தை செய்திருக்கிறீர்கள். ஆம், இது உலகம் முழுவதும் எனக்கு தோன்றுகிறது.
Very interesting the other day.
இதய தொல்லையை எப்படி கணிக்க வேண்டும், நீரிழிவை.
I'll keep it here. Very interestingly the other day I was doing. I don't speak Tamil very properly. I speak very locally, even though my wife is Tamil speaking. But my Tamil came only from Vadivel dialogues which I learned in school. Otherwise, I don't know much. So that time, what happened was, I was very recently, my audience was my team was like, sir, we need to approach the Tamil audience and the Middle Eastern audience. அப்படியே ஹேஜல்ல போட்டுட்டு போட்டுட்டேன். செம்மையா ரெஸ்பான்ஸ். For Middle East and all, people are telling me, sir, what Arabic you're speaking, where did you learn? I said, parallel, matter close. I got the result which I wanted. Similarly, same thing, I put this here, run the ads on Instagram, get good results. No problem at all. So you can use this, now AI, to be able to capture larger markets, home bakers, people who are sitting from home, and people who are doing business from home. Just take a recording, put it in Haitian, convert it to a language, diversify to the Indian market. I could have put this in a Hindi also, but it was very complicated, so I did not do that. So now coming to the next important aspect of it is something which is also more interesting called Claude. Claude is basically run by a company called Anthropic, if I'm not wrong, and Claude is something which is more advanced and more practical in nature. So here is where, just right now, while we were presenting, probably within the second panel, in 30 seconds, 60 seconds, we asked Claude to make an app for you. Okay? So in 60 seconds, Claude was able to make a bill splitting app where I can split the money amongst my friends when I'm traveling to Singapore, probably. So you will be able to do that, and it's more easier. So Claude is something which is more practical centric, building an app, providing a solution, connecting multiple apps together. How can you plug, say for example, you're using, just to give an example, you're using Tally, you want ChatGPT, and you're using some form of app in your phone to keep your accounts. If you want to club all these three together and build an automation, Claude can do it for you at prompts. Obviously, it will take a little bit of work and prompting to do. I added this right now just to add in a little more advancement. I didn't want to go with just basic prompts. Try exploring Claude, it's very interesting. You can do more automations. For example, you have some recipes at home and you want to just put it across. So what you can do is you can put the set of items you have in your kitchen. It will give you a recipe for a dieting thing. From there, it will tell you how to make it. From making it, tell you how many calories to burn. It will give you a reminder of workouts. It will be able to tell you that this is good for this is good for this, and this is good for this. So the entire automation can be done through Claude, integrating it with various apps as well. The next aspect of it will be Meta AI Llama. I'm sure all of you use WhatsApp. In WhatsApp top or chinna circle irukum paathukinga. Adu edhikku? Anyone has tried that? Most of the time people try for some stupid prompts. Show me a picture of a cat, show me a picture of a lion, put this there, put that there. But there is a very interesting thing which I saw on LinkedIn where this guy makes a storyline out of a prompt in Meta. For example, today we have an event and quickly I need to make a poster for it. Just put a prompt in Meta Llama and it will be able to make a prompt for you. If you want to be able to send reminders to multiple people on WhatsApp, it can do it for you. If you want to understand how the people's personality in WhatsApp chat is, it reads it and responds to you accordingly. Many people do not understand how to use Meta Llama because everyone is obsessed with ChatGPT. Meta Llama is also a very interesting tool. It's also a very interesting thing which you can use it. And it's a complete video which is made. Imagine two boys from an Indian village school were going with a cat on an empty road where a dog was chasing them, but they ran fast. And they're running. The entire video was able to be made live on prompts in Meta Llama. And it's not only for videos, or it's not only for prompting photos, it's also for you to schedule your entire WhatsApp, your Instagram, various other handles, and you can use many other aspects to it. It's quite interesting. I think you should make use of that also. Now something very interesting, probably this is the only most interesting slide of my entire session. Okay, how can you use AI to automate your day? I did not want to present this today, but I thought why don't I give you food for thought. The idea is, can you automate your entire day? How do we automate our entire day? We quickly put a blog, basically I read some article in Bloomberg, I like it, I put it in a blog. That article is read, and from there it is processed by AI. It's segmented into 4 blogs, one for LinkedIn, one for Twitter, one for Facebook, one for Instagram. The segmentation of the content happens in 2 ways. The first segmentation happens for textual social media, that is LinkedIn, Twitter. The second segmentation happens for visual media, YouTube, Instagram, other handles. Automatically AI splits both, and from there it goes into a router. The router shifts it to multiple handles, and it posts in all the handles with a tag, with the hashtags, with the content framework, everything within a span of 10 seconds. 5 actually. Span of 5 seconds. In 5 seconds, we are able to put it in LinkedIn, Twitter, in Trello, in Instagram, in Telegram, in X, then you have WhatsApp and various other channels. And the same automation allows me to get feedback also. Where in which handle, which post got maximum reach, and how can I increase my follower basis accordingly. The future is all about personal branding because AI is coming totally inside you. All of you want to be seen, all of you want to be understood. So it's easy for you to automate your life through AI. And this is basically for my work. But what if I can do it for my day-to-day routine and activities? I can plug all my apps together, just like plug and play. It's not coding, by the way. Just to give you a clarification. Drag this app, put this app. Drag this app, put this app. Plug and play. Basically, I'm just doing a puzzle work here, integrating everything, and I'm getting an automation for my entire day's work. And I don't need to have a big employee base also. I had a strong team with media. I had a team of 10 people. My bad, but I fired 7 of them. But 3 people are able to manage majority of the work. So it's easier for everything to be automated and work to be done. The next aspect of it is make AI. So this AI allows you to do ads and allows you to be able to send them mails with targeted AI-based algorithmic study, which allows you to do. So for example, you want to run a campaign for AiAiyo, and we want people who are interested in AI and thing to happen. Automatically the campaign runs all over Facebook and all over algorithms, gets only the people who are interested, shows the ad to them, gets them funneled down to a table that allows you to keep all the database, and from there you convert it to email. I can see one builder here who I know. Imagine if you want to sell your houses, what you can do, you can run prompts or customize houses to all your people, and automatically the leads get converted here, and mails go, and an automated chatbot can also talk to them. So you save a huge amount of work when it comes to interaction and entry barrier. Then coming to the usual part of the day, how much time do you have? 5 minutes? Okay. Then coming to the usual part of the day, translation of a document, because I have to work with the Middle Eastern governments quite a bit. So I translate my document into Arabic, get Sharia approval from the board, and various other aspects of it. Automatically ChatGPT gives me an approval. Hey ChatGPT, can you أنت Arabic? One second. Let me ask him if it does it or not. We have something interesting. So yesterday night I was asking him to just give me some interesting inputs in Arabic. Let's see if it does. Hey ChatGPT, أنت تتكلم عربي؟
نعم بالتأكيد. كيف يمكنني مساعدتك اليوم؟
Okay. So continuing to the part that you can able to talk to ChatGPT in Arabic or any other languages. You want the translation to happen, it can happen in the same way, and you can make best use out of that, and it will be more impactful for you, because it was very impactful for me. Honestly, I had to convert a 400-page document for Sharia board, which works on fintech. It was very complicated. If I had gone with translators, it would have taken me easily 15 to 20 days to do it with a huge amount of cost involved. I was able to do it in half an hour with ChatGPT with no cost involved. Okay, $20 basically. So $20 was all I needed to do it. So that was easier, and it was very good work. And ChatGPT allows me to do some running of my audits of my process. Where are my red flags in the company? What are the solutions I can do in terms of putting my plan, in terms of giving the plan in regards to what are the things which I have to do, the feedback, where all I should work on, where are we weak in our company, and what are the day-to-day activities I should work on, and it prompts me also. Offer letter, so I'm very weak with hiring and firing. Okay, so I do not like to generally communicate with people and tell them you're not performing, you're not doing anything. So I saved that task for me to not make it complicated. So I asked ChatGPT to do the work for me. So if you're hiring it, you hire it in your quality, but I'll tell you what quality I want. If you're firing it, don't even tell me this fire them. But the firing will happen through the HR people. So it will filter down the audience and my team members based on their metrics. I will tell them, okay, if for 3 consecutive milestones are not met, give 1 mail as a red flag. Second mail. After the 3rd mail, send a termination notice. And the HR will take care of it. Because it's all automated. So no one can blame me, sir, I did so much for you, sir, I'm not doing fine. Okay, easy. So it's very easy for you to be able to automate complex tasks which is awkward in nature because it's all automated. Sir, system, sir. Follow company. We have only 5 employees, but we work like 100 employees only. You can do that all with ChatGPT. Okay? So it's very easy to do that. Offer letters, firing letters, employee performance, mid-company, job description. Actually, most of the time I don't even know what to put in job description. I ask it to surf through multiple websites. It gives me an excellent outline of a job description, places the first round of interview discussion questions, second round of interview discussion questions, and very interestingly, I did not put it here, for the 3rd round of interview, you can actually make an AI twin of me. And it will ask you questions like I'm talking to them online. This guy who is the founder of LinkedIn, he did something like this. Reid Hoffman. He's been doing an AI twin in LinkedIn, and it's amazing. People don't even know it's AI. They think that they're talking to him, and he's promoting it a lot, quite a bit. So that is something which you can do here, which is quite interesting. And finally, some pitch decks in terms of messaging on LinkedIn, reviewing. So I put my pitch deck here. I asked ChatGPT to tell me what are the places I'm weak, where are the places where investors might not invest in me, or what are the problems which they'll face. It served through different resources, and it was able to give me a brief outline about the pitch deck. It was able to give me a brief outline about how to mail the investors. So what I can also do is, people think that every time putting manual work, going and putting this guy's profile and doing it's too much of manual work, but no. You can integrate a plugin through make.com. It will serve through, for example, if Suresh sir, it will serve through Suresh sir's all social media handles, all latest news articles, and say, sir, very recently we saw that you spoke in AiAiyo. It was a very good event. Thank you and congratulations for that. And I am pitching to you for this investment. So AI automates the mail to such a level where it comes to your inbox directly in a customized format. I can send the same mail to 1,000 people and get similar responses, which is customized and automated, completely served through the internet. So that is something which is very much possible. Answering queries through AI chatbots, this is something which we build of our own. Islamic finance is a very complex term. A lot of scholars say that you're telling AI will take over fatwa and all that stuff. So we uploaded 500 books for Islamic finance in this AI and asked it to be an Islamic fintech expert. So when I was able to speak about it, I was able to integrate technology, finance, and I was also able to integrate economics to talk about Islamic fintech. And this acts as a huge advantage for me to speak to Arabian scholars, because they need something in their language, in their technical terms. And this does my work for it. But for me to program my AI chatbot, it took almost 2 months of updating for videos and various books and various things. So I'm able to socket my work. So workspace, remember I told you in the previous slide. So I use the workspace to build my personalized AI assistant. So it works with my team and with my product, allowing me to give the exact resources I need for what situation without much of a worry. Then, very similarly, just to end off probably in a day. So yesterday I tried something different. So hey ChatGPT, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. That's quite an innovative use of ChatGPT for your workflow. It's great to hear how it's helping you with translations, performance reviews, and automating tasks, making your operations more efficient. If there's anything else you need help with, just let me know.
Were you secretly listening to me the whole time?
Oh, no secrets here. I'm just here to help whenever you need me. It sounds like you've been making the most out of our conversations.
That's great, thank you. I wanted to quickly do the demo which we did yesterday. Give me a good, nice shairi in Urdu which can impress my wife.
Sure, here's a shairi for you. Zindagi ki raahon mein, aapki muskaan ki chaaho. All right. No worries. Here's another try. तेरी हर अदा पे है दिल कुर्बान. तेरी मुस्कान में बसा है मेरी जान. Hope this one impresses her.
Yeah, that impresses. Yes, thank you so much. Okay, so quickly before I end my day, I wanted to actually end of my day in a very zen note. So I'm going to recite something for you. I want to tell you what is the meaning of it.
Absolutely. Go ahead and recite it.
قل لو كان معه آلهة كما يقولون إذا لابتغوا إلى ذي العرش السبيلا.
This is a verse from the Quran, Surah Al-Isra, chapter 17, verse 42. If there had been in the heavens and earth gods besides Allah.
So basically the whole idea. So if I want to get some spiritual insights, I'm able to speak at the end of the day, randomly ask him to give me a recitation of an ayah in Arabic, it gives me an explanation in Urdu, Tamil, English. If I want to do some self-exploration, self-contemplation, anything, everything is possible. So just to summarize the day-to-day, I will urge all of you to understand where the technology is heading, eliminate the risk, understand the concept, upgrade yourself, become better, and try to make sure your life is as exciting, as interesting as possible. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Excellent effort by the team of UEF Tech Committee, Yusuf Bhai, Naveed Bhai, Sharif Bhai, Nadeem Bhai, Sheikh Bhai, Khalid Bhai, everyone, Fahim Bhai. Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity, Sajid Bhai. Okay, and anyone if I'm missing, Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's been a fabulous session, fabulous day, and thank you for your patience and attention. Thank you.
Can we all give a big round of applause for Gibran, please? So just wanted to ask, how was the session?
Very nice.
Okay. So I want you all to go in the market everywhere and any chamber, every association you go. I want you to tell the initiative that UEF has done with this session called AiAiyo. With this AiAiyo. If somebody asks you how was the session, what are you going to say?
AiAiyo.
No. Wait. Whatever we say, you have to say. Okay. For a minute, I have done this for the betterment of audience. I wanted to replicate once again. Can you all close your eyes for 30 seconds, please? Just close your eyes for 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Open your eyes, please. Okay. And if somebody asks you how was the session, சொல்லுங்க மூடி இந்த எங்க கண்கள் அவங்க திறந்துட்டாங்க சொல்லுங்க. Okay. So you can say that literally whatever we talk is a fact. So you can say that they opened our eyes through, all these AI tools. And this was wonderful session beyond words, no doubt about it. Okay. So now last, to give the vote of thanks, I would like to call upon our director, Mr. Satak Sab, who is also the campus director of Satak Trust, to give the vote of thanks. Over to you, sir.
On behalf of the UEF board, I'd like to thank the Almighty who has made this event a great success. I would like to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you making this event a success with your presence. A special thanks to a keynote speaker, Dr. Suresh Venugopal. He has enlightened us with his opening session, explaining the basics of AI, but also taking us far beyond that. The insight we gained are truly invaluable. Thank you, sir. I would also like to express a gratitude to the panelists, Mr. Siddharth Kumar, Mr. Swaminathan Kalyanasundaram, for sharing a key insight on how we can leverage AI to create meaningful impact in our business. We now have quite a few actionable items on our to-do list. It was an amazing session. It was right after the opening session. A big thank you to the organizing committee members who played a dual role as both organizers and panelists. Thank you, Yusufbhai, Navid, Khalid, Sheikh, Gibran, Fahim, and Nehiya. It took almost a month, more than a month, very meticulous planning. I do remember that we went to the UEF office, we did some brainstorming, we were debating on many topics, what to finalize, and thanks for Fahim Bhai to come with AiAiyo topic. Name, it was very meticulously planned. A lot of work has went behind this event today. Thank you, everyone. We would also like to thank the Myasi management, especially Ilyas Saab, the president Imtiaz Saab, the treasurer Salim Saab, to give this the venue and also giving the resources to make this event a grand success. I also want to give a heartfelt thanks to our sponsor, SIS, Majestic Foundation, Earthion, Coda Technologies, SMS Healthcare, and Quick One, whose support was essential in making this event a grand success. We would also like to thank our vendor Visual Time for providing exceptional digital screen experience without any fault. Thank you. It was a really eye-opener, and the opening enlightenment with Suresh sir, the panelists giving us a thought-provoking session, and with Gibran being on fire. It was a lot of information, and it's an eye-opener. I do know that there are going to be a lot of questions to make sure how to make use of this session in your day-to-day businesses. Before we conclude, we will now play the national anthem. After that, we kindly request you to share your feedback in the Google form, which will be shared shortly. Thank you very much.
Jala